Willkommen. Have we?
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue. You got another one?
Hola.
Bienvenidos.
Hola,
Welcome.
Bienvenidos.
What's up? Jonathan Ward in the house. What's happening?
Hola, pinches.
Smoking Tire Podcast. We're here. We are here. It's a good day, actually. Today, it's a beautiful day in Los Angeles.
Lovely, windy and cold.
Windy and
Cool.
cold. A perfect
Cool.
day to test yachts. Am I right?
Yeah,
That's what
let's
I did
do
today.
it.
What
Did
did you do
you?
today?
I
Yeah.
worked my ass off. I sold ice to Eskimos.
I will.
I'm not a baller like you
I will
out
work my
screwing
ass off
around
too.
calling it work.
Driving yachts. It's a good day. How you doing, butter?
I am great. You know, I have no problems. I'm proud to say everything.
That's
is
amazing.
Just glorious.
None problems.
None, zero, notch, nothing. Great.
None local problems. Globally, we've got some issues.
Oh no, you didn't
Well,
say culturally. How are we doing?
Culturally, how are
Politically,
we doing?
how are we doing?
Yeah, yeah.
How me and my own little orb. I'm
In the world
I'm a happy
of,
little Pisces in my fishbowl.
High quality items sold to buyers who appreciate them.
Right.
Yes.
No, things are kicking. Tons of sales. Like even on my vacation, I was like 10 minutes on the phone a day and still keeping things
That's
rolling and
nice.
selling. Oh, it's such a
That's
difference.
nice.
'Cause
Did
back
you
in
read
the
like the
day-
4-hour work week? Did you pull one of those, or did you delegate for? Were you actually able to delegate for a?
Oh,
a
I
week?
think I was working about an hour a week if we exclude looking at emails.
An hour a week
Yeah.
during your vacation.
Yeah, it was
that's
killer.
That's very good.
Yeah,
Good for
it's
you.
excellent. It helped that we were on a boat and had no cell signal for a lot of
Yeah.
the time, which like forced chill and sketch and relax, and it was great.
Were you on the yacht in Turkey? Is that what you were doing?
Yes, sir. Cool.
I want to talk about it because I was actually driving yachts today, and they were the biggest boats I've reviewed so far is a 44 and a 56.
Man,
nice.
let's talk about this.
But I want to
this
talk about
designer
your guy's boat
blew me
because
away.
on Instagram I saw it. I think we got the picture. Pull it up to me. This boat. What the fuck?
Okay.
Tell me everything about
Okay.
this boat.
So there's this super wonderful Boy Scout of a human. I really like this guy. I became fast friends, and his name is Riza Tansu. Tansu Yachts. What's cool about him, like literally for me, and if
love that
I were to like grab a boat and throw an icon lizard on it, like that would be the boat.
Really? You think so?
I mean, granted, like I was geeking out and ripping them apart in a bunch of like handles and ergonomics and finished detail, but this is after
No one can
we
show
became
you
good
anything.
friends.
Yeah.
No.
You know, your microwave buttons are a little.
Oh, I'd hate to be your
I
kids
backed
bringing home
up
fucking
my
art
opinionated
projects.
bullshit.
Do your
with-
kids' art projects go back to school with fucking geckos on the bottom of them?
No, I'm not that bad, but just unbelievable. So his whole concept is that he takes the aesthetic principles of vintage boats, utilitarian boats, and then just uses that as his launching off point to then engineer a mega
Something
yacht
new.
or whatever, something new. So they're scratch built. But what's cool
This
is
looks military inspired,
that's
obviously.
what's so much fun. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a damn destroyer.
So it's vintage utilitarian. It's not like like vintage Chris Craft wooden.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
vintage
vintage
John F.
totally.
Kennedy yacht. Right.
No, but I mean, we talked about that at dinner, and he's game. But
That's what I would see if you said if I thought of a yacht with a gecko on it. I'm thinking of a yacht from the 50s with a lot of wood on it, that just has a classic look, but maybe something that looks like it's from the 50s, but it's actually made of carbon fiber.
right, so like
You know.
that makes sense in the context of fresh on the heels of taking you out in the 58 Rolls. But from the perspective of like the Broncos and the FJ and our sort of industrial utilitarian, that's probably why I appreciate his work so much. And the cool thing is, like 99% of the yacht designers, they'll like pen it out or do it in Rhino or whatever, and then send it to Norway or whatever. And there's a massive disconnect. Like they're done.
Yeah.
And then the shipwright builds it. This crazy sucker owns his own shipwright.
Really?
So he is maniacal through every last aspect.
Oh, it's you
all the
for
way through to
boats.
fruition. Yeah, totally.
And he's obviously at that scale. He's one at a time, right?
6 at a time.
Fuck off.
Five
Wow.
or five or six a year, and 1 per year is done on spec. And after a fair amount of Lagavulin and then a fair amount of sake, the conversation towards, well, how about a 60-meter? He like shows me these renders, like, and we should do a boom on the deck to like have an icon FJ with like 4-point
guys know how to
anchors. So you
live,
can
man.
take it to the pier and a helipad and like, oh, dude.
So how big is this guy?
So that one's about 40 meters.
So like 135 feet, give or take?
And then his latest
Jeez.
one's called the Cyclone, which I had the pleasure of being on, which is stupid.
Wait, which one did you actually stay on?
Okay, so I stayed on for about 10 days his first one, which is in the shape of a tugboat.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool. So the
What's
earliest
can we
photos
get the
on
name
there,
of it?
the ones I was on, it's a numeric name. And I don't recall what it is, but I'm cheating and looking for it. But we'll find it on the Google Party.
We were just discussing trawler-style yachts. I love the tugboat look. I don't know what it is. It's so, like,
Me too.
purposeful.
It's friendly.
Yeah.
It makes you smile. It's not imposing or isolating. Like, it's welcoming. And I think that's a big, at least for me, that's a big part of the appeal. But, like this little tugboat, we could show up in an island in the middle of nowhere and show up at the pier, and we walk right out and people are smiling and friendly. It's like that approachable aspect.
Yeah. It's like driving a DeLorean. People like
And
you.
it costs...
Is that it?
No, that's the little taxi we
the
ran.
Cyclone's the second from left.
But literally we show into a port and people are like engaging and cool boat, whatever. Versus you show up with a traditional mega yacht or whatever of the same price point, with the Corinthian leather and the marble and this super shiny lacquered shit.
Yeah.
You're just another asshole coming into their port. So it's a totally different party. This boat, the one I spent the most time on that introduced me to his work, is called CV70.
CV70?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, his stuff is just so
shit, that's
magically
awesome.
done. And on the inside, he's like, why is the galley always here?
It
That's
looks
stupid.
like a rent. Like, this is a real photograph.
Yes, sir.
And that looks like a rendering.
Yeah, huh.
Like when real life starts to look like Forza.
Yeah.
You're
It's a good sign.
Well, what's happening in yacht design right now is real crazy.
Yeah.
Just with the Wallies.
So, like, Wally has always been the one that gave me the chubby.
Yeah.
Now, like, keep your fucking Wally. I want to.
This is the new shit because
To me,
too many
like-
people have Wallies for you?
Yes, No, and it's also more like.
Well, this seems to
butthead
align with
oligarch
you.
showing up. Like, exactly. This is so aligned with like my sense of design that, and the guy was so wonderful that it floated my boat.
That's real cool. I could see why someone who made that would get along with someone like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what's a bummer though? He had like 40 hours of sea trials, and the next morning they were off to Monaco. And his captain, who's this super cool South African guy, he's like, you know what? Let's just go out. I don't know why, but like I want to go do the pass at this one more time. And he said there was a sound that sounded like they ran over a commercial fishing boat.
Oh God.
And on one of the big ass turbo Caterpillars, the crank broke.
No way.
Dude, and I went down to the engine bay to see they had it all like forensically taken apart and all laid out. Holy shit. I mean, that crank, just the crankshaft body
Yeah.
is like the diameter of a basketball and just sheared off. Can you
How does that
imagine
even
the mayhem?
happen?
That's what Caterpillar said. But they're like, dude, we'll take care of you and we'll deal with the labor and everything. But they're like, that's like our Uber motor, and there's only one other one in Europe. And like when he missed Monaco. He actually, like I would do
That's
in
got
a
to be
similar
that's like kind of a
situation.
big deal though for them, isn't it?
No, he
That's a
did what I
bummer,
would have
but-
done. He called around to his clients, found a cool client, said, dude, can I borrow your boat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And took his boat to the show.
Yeah, all
So
right,
it worked
cool.
out.
Well, I saw that Monaco show on Instagram. Looked crazy. I mean,
Yeah, I want to go one year.
you've been to the F1 race, right? Which
I've
might
been
as well
to
be the Monaco
F1
yacht
Bahrain,
show. Yeah.
but that spoiled me so much that now I don't want to go to F1 anywhere unless I've got the gold
Yeah.
pass.
Monaco
Like, because
is
I saw
tough.
that as a guest of the Prince. Now I can't go to any of them.
Monaco's tough if you don't have some big hookups or
Yeah.
or a big bank account. You got to have one or the other.
I don't have one, and I could probably forge the other. But you know what? I think I'd rather go to the boat show because I love like grabbing designs, details, and materials out of context and then integrating them back into what I do. So I think that is more apt to be relevant to me.
Well, they'll let you on the boats. in the
Let's
boat
start
show.
with that. Yeah. And now I can go with Riza so I can get the
yeah.
baller pass and
Yeah.
sleep on his killer yacht.
Actually,
It's a no-brainer.
The biggest piece, the most important thing that I learned today while driving certain yachts, and I gotta plug Ben from Silver Seas Yachts in Newport Beach. Super cool guy. Got some really kick-ass boats down there, and we got videos obviously because that's what we do here. But the most important thing I learned is that I need to get press passes and can get press passes for the major boat shows. Apparently, if you want to come, you want to be in
Miami.
Tell you what, you want to be like you want to go as like assistant to me for
Hell
the
yeah.
smoking
No,
tire.
I'll be your
Like,
bitch.
Let's go.
Let's
be
do
fun
it.
as hell. For the Fort Lauderdale one.
And Riza is
apparently
talking
the
about
one.
being. That's in March or February. or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Riza is talking about bringing Cyclone.
to the Fort Lauderdale one.
Yeah.
Then we have to go.
Do
There
they
you
do they
go.
just tie them all up and you can walk in and out like SEMA?
You
Like
can't
can
like
just-
walk across them like they're tied together.
Tarzan,
Like,
that'd
you
be
kinda
fun.
gotta
no,
go-
Mast
but you
to
can go
mast.
on each boat and check it out.
Yeah, I think you
It's
can.
It's
you
not
can
just
play
like
Don't look at me. I don't know. I've never been to
yeah.
one.
Sometimes you got to like put booties on your shoes or take shoes off or whatever. But yeah,
Flash
in general,
or
you
pass.
can go on the boats at the boat shows. That's like the point.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're trying to sell whatever boat they've got there.
Gotcha.
So the right watch, they'll let you on. They don't know any better.
Dude,
Probably.
if you dress like a total schlub, but you rock like a Jacob tourbillon
Yeah,
Galaxy,
you're on board.
Yeah, you're the perfect customer then because like you'll spend money on anything except clothing.
We had a guy once come to the shop when we were back in Van Nuys. No appointment or whatever. Dude walks in off the street, and he's very polite, doesn't speak much English. I'm the only one at the shop who speaks any Spanish in the front. And so I came out to deal with the guy. And literally this guy's wearing like beat-to-piss jeans, flannel, dirty T-shirt. He's got the whole jardinero, leather belt with the snips and the shears and like full-on gardener. All right, whatever, dude. We're in Van Nuys, so like you can't judge books by their covers anyway. Mm-hmm. And I'll give anyone the time walking to the shop if they appreciate it or they can buy it. Either way, equal. So whatever, talking to the dude, he's like, yeah, yo quiero un icon, cuánto vale, cuánto tiempo. He's like, we're going through the whole thing. Okay, yeah, no, it's starting deposits this and everything. And he goes, okay, I'll be back. It's like, whatever, dude. Mm-hmm. I forget about it. I kid you not, like 8 months later, here comes like a beat up old Toyota pickup. 2 jardineros in it with like the mower and the whole deal in the back. Guy walks up, reaches down his pants, pulls out like a whatever Target plastic bag full of cash and goes, I'm here for so-and-so and here's his deposit.
It wasn't a guy. It was a representative.
Correct. Another gardener. So I'm like, okay, next time I see the boss man, which is only one more time, I'm like, so what do you do? He's like, avocados. I'm like, all right, I'm in the wrong business.
Lots of
You know what?
avocados.
He was a great client, low maintenance, no hassle, paid on time, loved his truck, never saw him again, picked it up. It went to Mexico, and it's gone.
Perfect customer.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Take it as far away from me as you can, please.
Hey, I
I'm
mean,
kidding.
no.
Joking,
There's something
but-
to be said about like doomsday clients are probably my personal favorite because they put in this stupid bunker underground and I never hear from them again. No warranty claims.
Wait.
Until they buy another property, want to build another bunker. I am here to serve.
Can we back it up for just a second and let's discuss the doomsday clients? Because everyone talks about these doomsday people,
Yeah.
but I always thought it was sort of like a joke.
Oh, no.
No.
They're
No,
out
really?
there.
Yeah. There's
They're out there
a lot
in force,
of a lot of
dude.
wealthy Silicon Valley people like buying islands in
There's
Washington and
books
shit.
about prepping for doomsday. A guy wrote us into a book and like talked to me about it, but
Does he get a commission?
no, but I didn't pay to be in his silly book.
How many
People bought
How many
it.
bunker trucks would you suspect you've sold?
That I know of just 2.
Okay.
And the intelligent-ish bunker client would call and explain how he's going to use it and his concern with like RF pulse attacks and brr, 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 brr. And then I explain, okay, well, yeah, I mean, we can do it. But our vehicles are OBD2 computer controlled. Then they go, oh, no, there's sure no computers. Okay. So basically, I can
Put a carb motor in it for him?
I can take all the finesse and engineering and refinement out of the truck and put a 4-barrel carburetor on there. No carburetors. Okay, great. Good. As long as everyone's happy. Analog points ignition. And it's not that difficult. I don't like it as a builder because it takes all of the things that I feel are important about what we do out of it, but they're not driving it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good
Yeah.
point.
Party on. Right?
Wow, that's very interesting.
He will never drive it.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No, till we'll open it one day and find out it got invaded by worms or groundwater level something.
Everything's
Whatever.
Things wouldn't leak out of it, but just like the battery's dead. Something's.
Hey man, my trucks don't leak.
That's why I backed up.
What are you
That's why I
talking
stopped.
about?
Is that why you offer a 40-year warranty?
No, but I don't use those paper cork bullshit gaskets everybody uses.
Oh, I remember those from high school.
Right.
I went through exhaust gaskets every 3 months, and we're like, why? And then
Isn't that
we
fun?
Because they're made out of the
splurged.
boxes
They're
you
made for
moved
cardboard.
into your apartment.
Yeah, they totally were. And then you splurge for aluminum, and it's like, now it works.
Now I use turbo clamps on exhausts, so there's no flanges. I hate flanges. They
What's
suck.
a turbo clamp?
So you get two little like disky thingies with a sculpt profile.
Uh-huh.
You take your mating tubes, you put those buggers on those, then you have like a big fancy hose clamp like you see on turbo plumbing. You put that on there and tighten it down. That indexes them.
Oh.
Then you spot tig them, take them off, seam tig them, and you have no gasket, no wearing, no nothing. Just a big gnarly ass stainless clamp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds like it works.
I think you should try it.
What do I try it on?
On all your ridiculous cars, what do you mean
cut
you're
your
gonna
exhaust
try
off.
it on?
Put something on.
To me?
What do I need it on?
Make a
My
project.
Mustang finally works. Let's not touch
He's
it.
like,
Don't-
not touching it.
We're driving it. Oh, speaking of which, I just tangent because
Yeah.
you were here last time. You were in town. You came with that Dodge pickup truck that was great, and we were talking about fun fabrics and all this kind of stuff. And you introduced me to Modern Fabrics, right? The website to find weird vintage fabrics.
Ironically named after what you bought.
And shit, Tim, how am I going to get you a picture of my interior for? Because
It's on his IG feed about
It's on my
9,000
Instagram.
photos ago.
It's on my Instagram, but I'm just going to airdrop it to you, Tim. That'll make it easier. So, Modern Fabrics was the greatest
I love 'em.
depth of waste of time, best use of time ever.
Just to clarify, so we don't confuse the listeners, and not to negate your accuracy, well, I guess to negate it, nothing they sell is vintage. It's all brand new.
Well,
but it's like the
vintage looking.
highest end quality for leathers and fabrics and everything. And they're remnants from huge corporate jobs. So like Maharam or Knoll, and these high-end things that are like $180 a yard, you can pick up from them for $40 a yard. And they have all sorts of cool stuff. And all you car geeks, consider exterior patio furniture textile.
That was where I
They
started.
work very well in automotive apps, and they're 10 times. Yeah, that is.
What do you
just
think?
Wrong. It's so wrong. It's right.
Isn't that
Do you remember?
so wrong that it's the
Was
best?
that Maharam?
That
Looks
is
like a
correct.
Maharam.
It could
pattern.
be. Yeah. It
Beautiful.
is definitely a vintage style patio furniture fabric.
And you know what? I love that you have the balls to do opinion-based choices. So you're like, you know what? It's not for everyone, and
No.
like, I'm okay with that. Like,
80% of the people think it's great, and 20% are hugely offended by
fuck
it.
them.
And
But
the-
I mean, who gives
I
a
don't
shit?
care
Like,
about the
like
people we
we all,
offend anymore. It's
Yeah.
part of the fun.
it's great.
If
And
everyone liked it, it would suck.
and the lower door cards are done as well.
Yeah.
And then you can't see it in between the seats. We took a tray that was like a center console tray from like a 70s Mercedes 280 SE.
Yeah.
And put it in. So now I've got like a tray that goes around the shifter boot or the
Perfect.
handbrake boot.
Did you leave the OE carpet, or did you redo all that too?
No, that the carpet was new as of 2 years ago. It wasn't original to the car. It's basic black carpet, but
works.
that's just it. It's just
Disappears.
fucking black.
Yeah, killer.
But I am so in love with the interior of the car.
Yeah. Makes you smile.
Oh, and now around that it's all sloppy around the shifter boot in that picture. It's fixed now. It doesn't look
Sweet.
like ghetto now.
Is your Aston still running?
Yeah.
Cool.
The thing is solid as a rock now. That gearbox was such a flaming pile of shit with the robot on it, but
Oh,
now as a
horrible, man.
manual,
Like,
that's great.
It had to think about everything and reconsider it
So
and talk
nice.
to his wife and then shift.
It has been, completely just removed from the aging curve. It is
what
now
year
what
was
it
that
is.
robot built?
It was designed in like 99 and 2000 and put into production in 01. Mine was 03.
That's amazing because like Instagram, everything is full of new robot tech that comes out. It's like watch this one walk or pick up an egg. And 20 years ago,
Watch
like
this
this
one
can shift the
attempt to
transmission
change
In
from
10
second.
seconds.
No, it can't.
No.
A little ambitious.
I drive some new like torque converter autos that shift like my shitty Aston shifted in 2003.
Speaking of robots, I saw a really cool one on Instagram again. We're like we should be sponsored. You should be sponsored by Instagram at this point.
I'm
At least
about-
this show.
They
I'm
do
about
need
to get
press.
sponsored from a place called. I don't want to blow it up. I'll blow them up now because I like their company anyway. Crown and Caliber.
they're great.
Watch retailer.
Yeah, they're good guys.
They are going to be a sponsor.
Perfect.
And I think that's
I
excellent.
can't remember the principal's name, but he's a super cool guy. He supports my charity. We've worked together in
They're
the
in
past.
Atlanta. They've got a
good
great
people.
online store. There's like
Yeah.
a lot of serious watches in the
Yeah,
online
they're pretty
store.
smart how they do it. Their model's very unique.
Yeah.
But brain fart, where were we?
Robots.
Robots. So there's this new, I think it's MIT's doing it, and it's a kitchen robot that literally you take your range and your stove and shit and picture it behind like a glass wall, and there's these two robotic arms. And literally, you're like, you can enter in your menu as shit, like, okay, I want grandma's penne arrabbiata, or
No way.
I want this or whatever.
Get the
And the thing is timed to like, Amazon Whole Foods or whatever. It orders this shit. All you got to do is feed it into the cubicles, and it's like literally sitting there stir frying and shit and cooking for you.
Where did you see this
What?
And my wife's not.
Where did you see
That's
the cooking?
bonkers.
I saw it on the Instagram.
Can you see if you can locate
one of the
a cooking
technology
robot?
feeds, and I'm so excited.
I went
it's
to
like
CES
still it's not
last
to
year.
market or whatever, but it's like it's there and it's viable. How cool
It's
is
the
that?
it's the artisan version of Back to the Future when they just hit the button and the pizza grows in like a real pizza. So
Can
this
you
is like the
program
rich
it to
person
like
version.
be like? Is it that it right there?
That's it.
Holy
yeah, I saw
shit.
it on Revolver.
Can you program it like personalities? Like, can you make it like
No, I don't
Gordon
want it-
Ramsay having
Oh.
yell at you and shit? Well,
That's
It has
on-
a third
that's
arm
on
just giving you the finger
V2.
the whole time while it cooks everything
Yeah.
else.
wow.
That's nuts.
I mean, fucking weird. That's so weird.
I mean, for me, like, I love and like a major culinary geek, but I'm useless. Like, if my wife's out and the kids are hungry, like, I do one thing.
You
Trader
can't cook?
Joe's taquitos.
You
That's
can't
my
cook?
specialty.
Someone with
I had
like
hummus.
hands like you can't, and attention
pick
to
your
detail
battles.
can't
Pick
cook.
your
your
battle.
battles.
You got-
I haven't gone there.
How much free time you got? Not a
None.
lot.
Dude,
I mean,
there you
all
go.
weekend
you
I'm
could
leather
follow a
crafting
recipe
and-
though. If you can follow a fucking Haynes manual,
I
you
don't
can
follow a recipe to any of my cars. I haven't picked up a Haynes manual for 20 years. I mess it all up and do it my own way.
All right.
I'd be cooking.
The robot
God knows
kitchen.
what.
We saw. Have you been to CES ever?
Weird.
I have not, and I've wanted to. And we've had
should.
cars there, and I've
Yeah.
never been able to
No,
get
you
up
should
there.
go just to satisfy your curiosity.
I bet you'd find some funky gadgets.
It's
to
really
integrate.
weird. It's full of a bunch of like quote connected devices that really don't fucking need to be connected. However, there like the robot kitchen, there was a robot laundry machine, and all you did was throw your pile of laundry in the one thing,
And
it was
sort the shit and handle
it was
everything
probably
for you?
like the size of like a pretty large door. Like, right? It was big, it was a big machine, like a Sub-Zero fridge size. And your laundry came out pressed and folded.
Oh,
like
yeah.
in a straight stack.
That's
Yeah.
nutty.
But it was huge. I mean, it was a big machine.
But if you're a company that employs people and launders and folds things,
yeah, if you were
Look,
if you're
you know
like
you
a
make
uniform.
any big machine a small machine?
Build-
80 mil.
What?
What?
$80 million.
yeah.
All it takes is enough of us to like get a chubby and want it, and then the company goes,
Totally.
all right, yeah. We'll bring
Yeah,
that down.
they just built like the first nanotech robot, and I'm
Throughout
sure
history.
it's like
Is that-
took a GoPro, you shrink it down to like the size of a cell. Everything you just add money and time, and they can make anything whatever
Pretty
size
much.
you want. It's crazy.
God, that's a very astute point, and I mean, and quite obvious, and when you think about it, yeah,
Just throw
$80
more
million
money at
you
it.
can make anything smaller.
Fuck yeah. I can make you smaller for $8
Yeah,
million.
you could.
I don't know if you did the hard work, though.
$8,000. I'll lose 3 pounds in the next 24
from
hours.
From here down, it's going to be hard. Yeah, you're like, I'll do that for the income.
For
Really
everyone's got their
boy.
price. Mine's not that high. I mean,
I'm fairly slutty.
dude, I've driven around racetracks at what I consider to be full race pace in cars without bodies at all, in open face helmets, for a total possible profit gain of maybe $300.
Yeah. Oh, so you did lemons too.
No, I did that at this Grid Life Festival, which you
yeah.
should go to because it's hilarious. Grid Life Motorsports and Music Festival. Everyone's, first there was the Ariel Atom, and then blah 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 blah, and
I used
now
to have one of those. They're fun.
they're crazy, yeah, of course. But now like exo cars are the shit. But like people are like, oh, Exocets are cool and Atoms are cool. Let me just like get this Honda Civic and just remove the body and have a floor pan with a cage on it, like, and that's it.
Which
Have
looks
you
like
seen
shit.
The guy who's
They don't
I think
drive
it's a
good either.
Skyline and a new Mustang, and a vintage Mustang.
Oh, you mean
the Ford dealer that's mashing those all into a project?
Wait, no.
It's not done yet.
No.
what?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
He's got an old Mustang.
I just talked to him today
And,
because he's interested in one of that crew cab Ford pickup we did recently. That's insane. But
is that what you brought
he
down?
called.
It might have been the
no,
Ford.
I think it was one of the Dodges.
Yeah.
But I was like in the middle of explaining to the guy, like, you know, kind of acclimating him to the realities of the process and cost and time. And he goes, "Oh no, I get it. I'm doing blah 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 plus blah." I'm like, okay, not your first rodeo. We're good. How's Tuesday morning look?
So he's doing what? A
So
Skyline?
from what I understand, a Skyline, a new Mustang, and a vintage Mustang. So the vintage Mustang aesthetic will prevail, and then a whole bunch of tech shitty from that is going into that. So if I had to guess, it's the Coyote to the all-wheel drive system.
That makes
the
sense.
To the
Mustang.
vintage body. What the fuck? Wow.
It's so wrong. It's right.
But if it works,
If
the
it works,
internet will
I'll
that's
love
what
it.
he's saying.
For
In
sure.
theory to work, it's not done yet. You know, he's
Theory's
hemorrhaging
great.
hours and
Yeah. I mean, that would be pretty rowdy. All-wheel drive V8 like Jim Conn. You know, it's the unicorn. But with
yeah, pretty much. Well, someone on Instagram has hit me up and just did like a ghetto version of that Rusty Slamington car.
Wait, a ghetto version.
A much more ghetto.
Okay,
version.
because Rusty Slamington
I want to
is-
find where the fuck is this guy?
that's no
Rusty
hotel.
Slamington's- Yeah, exactly.
That's like
It's not for
have you
everybody
seen
else
that
on
Rusty
its own.
it doesn't have
Slamington
floorboards,
thing?
dude.
God damn it! I gotta.
I don't think it didn't have
Did
a
you ever-
firewall.
Did you ever
Yeah.
see that BMW that my friend Chris at Sin City BMW in Vegas built? So he built it on one
Yeah.
of the X platform all-wheel drives, and it's
Yes.
like total rust bucket. He is so much
that's,
fun,
That's it. Right?
and the car is fun.
That's
nope,
Rusty
that's
Slam.
not
that's
it. That's
Rusty,
Rusty.
but that's Rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
He's
that
a
is
fun guy
amazing.
too. That car is cool.
That's
Have you
the
heard
Stance
it?
Works, guys.
It makes the nastiest bubbly noises.
Well, it's got got
a
a race
race
engine
motor
in it,
Yeah,
but he
like
never drives it
uncorked.
because it costs like tons of money to drive and whatnot. And then he said he had a regular engine just sitting in the shop.
And then Sin City BMW in Vegas took a 2002 beater.
Oh, this
and
is it.
took a 3 Series X all-wheel drive and mashed them together. So like a fenderless, mud-tired 2002.
Pull this thing up. Because this speaks a bit to your Mustang. I think the Instagram is
Not my Mustang. I'm not building that.
Your buddy's Mustang. This is Mustang Kyle on Instagram. Apparently, has built just a crazy.
Okay, that's
It's like a Mustang, but it's like it's the Rusty Slamington Mustang or something.
Here's that.
And it's basically chopped wide. It's very low and very wide.
Oh, very elegant flares.
And extremely. It shares John Ward's sense of fit and finish. Clearly,
I'm still going to go for a ride, though. It just
pretty
looks
cool.
so
Go
nasty.
find a picture of the. Close that out and get a picture of the front because the front. There's the top left.
Whoa.
You know, it's 100% attitude. It's probably got 345s all around.
Some
it's
X5
kinda
is
like
missing
that-
its
Oh,
tires.
Scroll down. The rear 3/4. I mean, so basically the top of the tires is higher than the
belt
top
line.
than the hood. That's how much they've lowered it.
Did you see that? It was
got
like
an
a
LS
32
motor.
Ford. The guy had an S2000 engine in it, and it had like an F1 wing and like 345s all four corners, and it was just internet porn. And he built it in his garage and then sold it and moved on to another project. But I mean, it looked rowdy. How it handled, we don't know. But it was.
Have you seen this
interesting.
Steve? You know Steve Mole? He's a great classic hot rod builder up in Northern Cal. And a wonderful guy. And we share. We work together. There's a mechanical engineer that we share. Is gifted. But anyway, Steve is like classic. 32 high boy, 40 Ford, whatever kind of dude. But he's kind of bored and he's older and he doesn't give a shit.
Oh.
So he's now the honey badger of hot rod builders.
Yeah.
So like he'll do a 928 powertrain in a 32 high boy. He's done
cool.
Ferrari V12s in 37
Has he done
Fords.
the
and-
Lexus V8? Is he that guy?
No, but that's the one that I know of was the 37. I think 3-window coupe, and that was actually
Had a
built by
really
a
neat-
Lexus and a TMS employee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was super cool.
It was a very cool
Yeah.
car. Whoa, is that what this
Yeah.
guy's building?
This guy, he
What
built
the
it.
fuck is that?
That's the
Is that a Steve Mole car?
It's a S2.
No.
This is the guy I was talking about. S2000 engine, and it's it's bonkers.
Oh, excellent.
It just
Good
looks
for him.
it looks rad.
That looks great. I
Is that like
I
a
may have seen that
smokestack
at, like-
exhaust?
They did someone did a rendering like this like 5 years ago, and it was on before Instagram really was big. Like we put it on our website, and it was just around the internet. And then some guys like, I can build
That
something
looks
like that.
great.
and I think he sold it for like 40, 50 G's.
That sounds about right. Is there a picture from the back, Tim? From the front, whoa.
That's the rendering.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. That
But-
looks like you put a 32 Ford
On an
canopy on an
F1 car.
actual
Yeah.
modern
Yeah.
F1
Sweet.
car. That'd be a good idea.
I like his brake light. That's excellent.
I'll tell you what. People, that people buy and race fucking vintage F1 cars, and that's like a thing they do.
No, but I always wondered when I see those at auction, what are you going to do with that?
I was just at a
You
guy's
guys track 'em?
collection in Florida where, a guy's got a couple of them, and he goes to rents racetracks, and he runs these things.
Does he? Is he?
It's like, this car killed Villeneuve.
Right. And his wooden yacht didn't require enough maintenance.
Right.
He thought, what can I do?
Well, they
Jet
they
did that.
they
F1
had a
car.
they had a 1981 March F1 car he just bought. It was awesome. It was Guinness livery
the black.
with a sub sponsor of Rizla Papers. It was amazing.
party F1.
And it had that Cosworth DFY V8, which is just a bitchin' psycho death Ford. Right. So they started it for me. And, well, for me and other people. I don't want to take full credit for this, but they started it. They just got it back from Resto. They started it. The video of it starting is on my Instagram, Tim. And
I don't think the audio comes through.
I think it does, actually.
Does it?
I think it does. But anyway, it takes 2 hours to start it. So they have to hook up a water heater and an oil heater and run
Cycle everything.
slowly heat up the water.
Because the
and
tolerances
oil
are too tight.
It literally
Yeah.
can't. You can't turn it. So they run this shit.
That's nuts.
It's got all
Then they
expand. It's nutty.
they squirt. You can see right here in this video. Then they squirt. Play it, Tim. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't like mute us out.
I love it. Everyone needs carb cleaner.
So he's squirting some
Nitromethane.
some juice. That guy's name is Andy Green. Apparently, he's very, very famous in the vintage racing world.
He's named after the shirt he was born in.
We're not actually. We probably won't hear it. I hope the audience hears it, but they sounds like Tim's got in his headphones, and right behind the exhaust is a dude named Ben holding a starter.
Oh, jeez.
The first thing that happens when it fires is the guy holding the starters gets blasted in the fucking face.
I love the livery. That's killer.
Oh, it's badass.
I totally understand why people buy
But
these.
his intention is to go drive that.
Of course, because how fun would that be? We all
scary.
Scary. None of us have the level. Is he a very accomplished racing driver?
What's crazy is the gentleman. His name is John Campion. His Instagram's on the screen. John J. Campion. He's a very wealthy gentleman, obviously, because he's got something like this. And oh, by the way, a collection of Lancia Works rally cars. I drove his Stratos.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. And
not the most comfortable car in the world, but
Doesn't matter.
so
not the
beautiful.
least
So
comfortable
good-looking.
car he owned.
That's one of my bucket list cars.
It was the jam. But anyway, one of his gigs, one of his many gigs, is bringing power to places that there is no power. So while he was supposed to be around when I went down there to check that out, he had to go to Puerto Rico and bring power to people where there is no power. So that's his gig. So of course, that's awesome.
Cool.
But I drove the cars with his shop dudes instead of with him, which is a bummer because everyone's like, "This guy's so cool. I wish you could meet him. He's in Puerto Rico." And I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
So, but he let me drive Stratos. I drove the Fiat 131 Works above that won the WRC championship in 1978. I drove Escort Mark 1 that revved to 9,500 RPM. It was amazing.
I've driven one, but the guy made me drive it like a Prius.
Well,
and
that's and then I
That's what they're
drove
built for. Just drive gently.
I drove a Fulvia Works Rally Fulvia, which did not like heat at all, and I vapor locked it at the highway to shit out. And we had to let it cool down for like an hour and a half, and then it was fine. And then I drove. I didn't get to drive because John was in Puerto Rico. He had to be around. He's got a Delta S4 Works, the psycho death machine, and he's got the Delta Integrale that won the '88 WRC
wow,
championship.
Mr. Champion is not.
This
fucking
guy is
around.
not fucking
He's got
around
good
at all.
taste, though.
It's on.
And I drove the Stratos.
obscure taste,
the Works
which I really
Stratos.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a bunch of Porsches. Oh, and he had a Lancia Beta Monte Carlo that raced Le Mans in '83. Yeah, the real deal.
There's usually a really cool in Air Italia livery Stratos that comes to the Pasadena Art Center College show, the Car Classic in late October.
Yeah.
And like every year I'm giddy like a kid.
Which
waiting
is
to
it,
hear
the white
come rolling
Alitalia
up.
one or the red one?
No, multicolor, so it's the white base.
one.
Yeah.
Tim, scroll down on the Instagram there. I've got just one or two scrolls, and you'll see the red. There's the Stratos.
Yeah.
There's all the cars.
Dude,
so
how much?
The Stratos was there's I think they said 20 factory works cars of like 500 total cars. So that's it. They had the the air traffic controller headphones, but it was as raced in 77, so it was only geared to like 70. So, in Florida, 70 is not really,
not gonna get you far.
but it was actually
that
nice.
canopy.
Have
is
you had-
so good?
Oh,
Yeah.
just magic. Have
So
you ever had
good.
any
131.
experience? There's that company in the UK called Eagle.
Oh yeah, I drove one.
One of their Stratos, right?
No, I drove the Jag.
Oh,
the
no, I'm
E-Type.
sorry. I'm
You
confusing
think
my
of Hawk.
companies. Hawk.
Different bird.
Yeah, no.
Different
The
bird.
Eagle Jags are
F430
lovely.
Stratos,
Go on,
is that
fine.
those people?
But
The
have you-
Hawk Stratoses.
Are they worth the poo?
Apparently they're great.
And they put like Mondial and Fiat
So
drivetrains
here's the
and
thing.
stuff. in
They
them.
use the Alfa Busso V6. Here's the thing about the Stratos. It's a Dino motor and gearbox and stuff. And so it basically feels not like it's amazing, but it basically feels like a Dino with a shitty kit car body on it.
Right.
Like that's pretty much how you would describe how it drives.
But
And
I'd
it's-
love to have one of those and just rally the piss
Hawk
out of
one
it
I
in
would
town.
definitely
Drive it around
say-
town in full rally prep.
I'd rather have a Hawk Stratos than a Superformance Cobra.
Oh, 10
No
to 1.
disrespect to
Dude,
Superformance.
Yeah.
but
how much does a Lancia Monte Carlo look like a DeLorean?
that
What?
one, look at that one right there. I don't think that looks like a DeLorean. The bottom
see
left with
nothing
the
like
model
that.
car in front of
Because
it.
this
The Beta Monte Carlo.
is a bit DeLorean shaped.
Oh yeah, it's a Giugiaro design.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar period. Yeah. But that we're talking about the
Okay.
Beta Monte Carlo from Le Mans, which is quite a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
That Ford GT on the lift behind it there, heritage color Ford GT, 3 miles. There was legit cobwebs in the rear wheel well.
Well,
It's very sad.
That's his nest egg in case everything falls apart.
He has 6.
I know. Like
He has 6 of them. There's a black one on the other side with 2 miles on it. He's got 6, and there's one he dailies, and then he's got 4 that sit.
guy's
The four paid for the one.
Good taste.
My kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't have one of your trucks. Frankly, he seems like a guy.
Well,
who
apparently
would be.
you failed me.
I failed you.
Oh, he wasn't there, so I can't blame you.
Yeah, he wasn't there. What are you gonna do? God damn.
Wow.
Oh, we learned to pull up that picture of that muffler in the engine bay, Tim. Look at this. So I drove a Lotus Cortina Mark II.
Whoa, look at that.
Here's
Never
the
know
engine
that.
bay. So in order to meet U.S. homologation rules, what we're looking at appears to be a shitty AutoZone muffler laying right on top of the engine of Lotus Cortina. That's the air cleaner.
With a Ford Bronco washer bag.
Yeah. There's the Lotus Cortina, basically Ford Cortina with engineered by Lotus. So Lotus engine, Lotus chassis work in a Ford Cortina body, and they used an air cleaner muffler for an air cleaner.
Someone told me recently that Lotus is so disinterested in the engineering arm because they're making so much money in licensing that they're like totally whatever.
Ferrari,
not
didn't
into
it?
it.
I believe that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, have you driven an Evora 400 or 410? It is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. For that may be true. However, their newest cars are pretty excellent.
But what happened? They had like 7 new car.
Oh, the Danny Bahar cars?
Done
Fuck
concept,
that.
whatever, and they all poof. Where'd they all go?
Because that was the Danny Bahar,
Right.
who's the CEO, who's now they got that Geely money.
Yeah,
Just got bought by Geely.
They roll it out real slow. They keep it really simple.
Yeah.
And then they license and engineer
But they have a
people's
current
cars.
model still?
Multiple,
400.
just not in the U.S. They
Right,
can't
that's
afford
what
the
I mean.
U.S. homologation right now, so they've got 2 new, maybe even 3 new Exiges in the U.K. Jack Baruth just went to drive one, and they've got the Evora Sport 410, which everyone says is bitchin'.
That Rivi I see on your feed, was that the 63 that was the only year that came with the silver leather interior?
I've
seen that?
No, I think it had a black interior. I think that the owner said it was a 65. I
Yeah,
just
it's
saw that
later.
right by my
I
my
love
house
those.
the other day.
Such a beautiful, graceful car.
I mean, you're not going to
We're
like
talking about
this.
Buick Rivieras.
We're
if you
talking
guys don't
about
have
Buick
your eyes
Riviera
on.
first gens,
Yeah.
but
Too much wheel.
I'm a boat tail man myself. Remember the
needs
movie
more.
Go about ecstasy from the 90s? They get away in the boat tail Riv.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Those
it.
are very
They've
good.
never come into the limelight. You know what's cool about the first gen ones, though? I heard a story. One of the guys, one of the lead engineers at Buick, was an aerospace cat. So he tried to bring in all this sort of aerospace perspective and design engineering to ease service and keep service departments flowing and flagging more efficiently. So like, if you had to do something in the door, next time you're around one of those, open the door and you look in the jamb, the entire door outer shell bolts to the door structure.
Oh, cool.
And literally, you don't take the interior panel off and the handle and the
side
panel.
access it?
No, you take the damn skin right off the door.
Oh,
Super
you work at it from the
clever.
outside?
Yeah.
That's probably great
And
for
it's-
dent removal, too.
That whole, never thought about it, I guess so. I mean,
Yeah.
that whole car there's so much cool innovation in it.
So I never thought about that. How cool. You've never built one, right?
I haven't. I owned one briefly that I bought to just flip to pay the rent when I was a teenager, and I wanted to keep it, but I sold it.
Great
and paid
shape.
the rent.
Really good.
Yeah, they're so pretty.
Do we need to take a break? I feel like we need to take a break right now.
Okay.
I feel like we do. I think we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. I'm going to airdrop the video of us pulling away from that light to the we're going to come back from the break. We're going to talk about the 58 Rolls that you rolled up in, which is my new favorite car.
And I get to play one of our mutual favorite songs, Picture Me Rolling.
Picture Me Rolling
You have
is my
to.
favorite Tupac song. When I got my stereo in my Mercedes,
I know, I was laughing my
500
ass
Benz.
off.
Oh, I feel so good about
Picture
having a
Me
500
Rolling.
Benz. I love that song so
Timeless
much.
car.
All right, let me sell some real estate.
Okay.
Again, people keep emailing me asking if sell some real estate means I'm going to take a shit. It's not. It means advertising. It's how we pay the bills in this motherfucker.
Now we're there from, I guess.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to start using it for shitting.
And then
It's going
start
to
saying-
translate. It
Say you're
starts-
going to take a shit, but you're going to do ad reads. Just flip it on.
You know that there's a great Jay-Z lyric, because one of my favorites. My wife fell in love with it and pointed it out to me. What you eat don't make me shit. Is that great? It's so appropriate many times throughout the day.
Love Jay-Z. Genius. All right, we'll be back in a minute with more John Ward. This episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast is brought to you by Driveline. Driveline is the world's first social driving app coming exclusively to the iPhone. Discover the pleasure of driving not to get somewhere, but simply to be on the road. Whether you're a longtime driving enthusiast or just someone who wants to discover why driving can be fun, this is the app for you. You can map your favorite driving roads and classify them based on style, whether it's a hill climb, a cruise, a B-road, loose surface, trail, and then capture basic metrics and driving data. You can use your iPhone's camera to capture video of your drive or use an external camera or drone, then post these videos to the feed so everyone can see exactly why your time behind the wheel matters, or keep them for yourself in your own personal library. You can share your cars, track your drives, and earn points towards contests and giveaways from the team at Driveline Entertainment. Now, if you're new to an area or just looking for new roads to travel, Driveline lets you search for roads in any given area by radius and style. Review the maps, videos, comments, likes, and the point scores of the creator, then go out and have a drive on your own. Looking for a loose surface rally-style drive? There may be something closer than you think. Find the Driveline app exclusively in the iPhone store. This episode is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Are you in need of great talent for your business, but you're short on time? You don't have to get lost in a huge stack of resumes to find your perfect hire. You just need the right tools, smarter tools. With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with just one click. So you can rest easy knowing your job is being seen by the right candidates. Then, ZipRecruiter puts its smart matching technology to work, actively notifying qualified candidates about your job within minutes of posting, so you receive the best possible matches. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other hiring sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on the right candidates finding you, it finds them. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by growing businesses of all sizes and industries to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. Right now, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free $99. That's free dollars. free, FREE dollars, 0, ZipRecruiter.com/smoke. That's ZipRecruiter.com/smoke. One more time, try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/smoke. How about Harry's Razors? I rock my razors on the daily. Well, that's an exaggeration. I rock my razors about every third day. I find every 3 days of shaving for my face and head is about right. And I go through, I would say, 3 shaves of full head and face for one cartridge, right? So I was able to buy an entire year's supply of cartridge, which is, for me, is about... I don't know exactly how many it is, but it's a whole year's supply. I did the math, and it was $60. That's cheap for some really high quality, amazing cartridges. Harrys.com/tire. That's all for me to you. Harrys.com/tire. I'm going to give you a free trial shave set, right? Includes a weighted ergonomic razor handle, 5 precision engineered blades with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, some rich lathering shave gel, and a travel blade cover. All of that for free, $13 value, just covers shipping. It's yours. Try it for yourself and let me know what you think. I've been using these things for years, and I think they're awesome. I have. I could say that and then go use other stuff, but I don't. I spend my own money on Harry's razors because I like them. Harrys.com/tire. Get your free set. And last but certainly not least, Forza Motorsport 7 is finally here. We have been talking about Motorsport 7 for months. I got to play it a couple months ago, the demo. The full game is finally here. Get ready for the thrill of motorsport at the limit. Gear up for the most comprehensive, beautiful, and authentic racing game ever made. Forza Motorsport 7. It's here. It's available now on Xbox One and Windows 10 PCs. With Forza Motorsport 7, everyone can experience the danger and beauty of competitive racing at the limit. Collect over 700 Forza Vista cars, including the largest collection of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches available in any racing game. Master over 30 famous environments with 200 circuits with dynamic conditions that change every time you race. Dynamics, folks. No 2 races are exactly the same. You can download the free demo on Xbox One or Windows 10. It is available for purchase now. Right now, folks, at ForzaMotorsport.net or Xbox.com/Forza. And guess what? I am in the game. I'm in it. Voices of Motorsport, me and a bunch of other really cool people, most of whom are way cooler than me, are in the game. So hit us up at Xbox Live at TST Racing, and Forza Motorsport 7 is the official racing simulator of the Smoking Tire Podcast. All right, I hope you enjoyed my ad reads this week. We just learned during the break in reality here that the sound does not come through when we play videos.
Yeah, sorry. Trust us. It sounded
sorry
cool.
for that entire F1 engine segment.
Well, go to your Instagram.
Go to my Instagram and listen to the sound. I mean, it's weird because it was coming through Timmy's headphones, and we could hear that in here, but there's some sort of technical disconnect that needs to be fucking sorted.
And we're going to show you our e-ticket ride test driving the 58 Rolls, but you have to go to Instagram for that.
We'll talk about it. We can't play the audio, but you can picture the audio in your head of what a dry sump LS7 engine sounds like, and then in your brain, here's John pulling away from a traffic light, and in your brain, picture an LS7 engine, 6-speed GM gearbox, but underneath a 1958 Rolls Royce that looks like the kind of thing you'd take to prom for $300 an hour.
Yeah.
But
it
with
looks like piss
faded
on the
paint.
outside. It's all faded out, all original.
Great, though. It's like an
and
olive
steelies,
green,
dope
faded
steelies.
out.
Aluminum, baby, not steel.
It's
Those are aluminum.
Keep the weight down.
Oh, those are aluminum. Oh, good.
yeah, you wouldn't want that car to get heavy.
Steel look.
Yeah.
Go back to the regular picture of it, Tim, so we can see it from the outside. So it's what is the actual model? Is it a silver cloud?
Yeah, it's a
Silver cloud, right?
And it's part of our derelict series. So we looked long and hard to find a car with a cool, funky patina and good body integrity. And then we took it apart and did all sorts of non-honored British traditions, and actually made it. We got rid of the Prince of Darkness. There's nothing Lucas remaining.
Oh.
So it's all proper. It's full OBD2 supported. Dry
Can you get the
sump
custom
LS7.
plate that says like X Lucas?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, a friend of mine had once, and I've never seen it again. I just make my own. But it was like a mason jar with a simple label on it, and it said Lucas lubricant, and it was smoke in a jar. That was good.
So what'd you do with the chassis of this Rolls Royce?
I cut it in 3 pieces and kept the center part because it was required by Australian law.
The 3 pieces the long way or the short way?
I kept the center chunk, and then I re-engineered the front clip, and then the rear was like a mashup of Art Morrison 4-link with JRI coilovers and a Curry 9. So
you had a 3-car
pieces.
train and you took out the caboose and the locomotive.
Pretty much.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And,
But what's crazy, that chassis, it's 2 layers of sheet metal bent into C shapes, right? Take 2 C's, butt them together with flanges, and then take 2 more of those C's, stack them on that, and then do like a quick bird shit stick weld to it.
God.
And that's how the frame was built. Are you
Well,
kidding me?
What was this car? It was 100 horsepower when it was new?
I don't care if it was pedal power. That is bullshit. Like,
Yeah, because
British
when you-
engineering just blows my mind again and again and again.
No,
Like,
even on brand new stuff.
totally. Like, what are you?
Did we tell you about
what are
the
thinking?
haunted Aston Martin?
No.
This is fucking great. There, we did a bit for NBC Sports. And when is the dates? Give us the dates, Zach.
October.
Producer. It comes.
Premieres on like October 18th.
That's like next week.
Yeah.
By the time this podcast airs, that's like
The
it's coming.
National Parks episode, though, is going to be episode.
Okay, well, drive
3.
on NBC Sports.
So
Check your
November.
local listings. Set your DVRs if you're cable people. Okay, if not, it'll be on iTunes later for internet people. But it's coming. So, National Parks episode, Grand Touring Cars. We're driving some multiple national parks. Okay, me, Alex Roy, Mike Spinelli. Great fun, the whole thing. So we communicate with each other in between cars using some basic Motorola production radios. You see them everywhere on every film set and construction site throughout the fucking universe, right? Basic. Alex is in the Aston Martin DB11, okay? Anytime he presses the push to talk button, okay, if he holds down that button and moves the radio to within about 8 inches of the steering wheel, it honks the horn.
I love it.
which is a
Lucas
hilarious
lives.
game. We called it Horn by Wire. And it's a real easy way to fuck with somebody. It makes it
And now that you know.
So we're driving back and forth, and the car we're having a conversation. The car just starts honking. Can't figure out why. It's so
That's excellent.
funny. And then it just
love
went
it.
away, and then it came back and went away. It was like an old friend, It was really, but that's we're talking a 2017 model year car, So it's not just the 50s Rolls where there are maybe some issues.
That episode goes up November 2nd.
Okay, thank you, Zach.
10:30 Eastern time.
What is the premiere?
When is the premiere?
Yeah, you gotta
October
plug this
19th,
shit, dude.
10 p.m. Eastern time.
Say that again.
October 19th.
October 19th,
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Eastern.
Eastern. And can we say what happens in that episode?
We can say it's got a bunch of fast cars in it. I think we can say that.
Fast cars in beautiful places.
That's the one where we dissect speed.
Oh, it's actually
Good one.
it's good. It's good. They're all good, but of the good, this one is particularly
goodest?
good. This
Or
one's
is
fun.
it
Gooder.
This
Gooder.
one's fun.
Gooder.
Have you ever
Gooder.
played in a wind tunnel?
No.
I got to play in a wind tunnel in
Cool.
this, and it was exactly as cool as you think it would be. Here's something you want to know about a wind tunnel. I would never have fucking guessed this. Made of plywood.
Really?
I was in a proper one, like NASCAR teams use it. Like it's a legit one that that's in Charlotte that all the big NASCAR teams use.
So it's plywood and they still can bill it out at
It's
like
so
$5,000 an hour.
Cool. I bet you can get a picture of it. Can you Google the A2 wind
A2
tunnel?
wind tunnel.
I think
Well, 'cause-
I think NBC would be happy to hear me talk
Because the
about
far
this,
end
by
is
the way,
open,
for
right?
the
Because it's
record.
pulling air, so that the structure doesn't need to be that strong. It's just it's
It
not being
makes
buffeted.
it sort of makes this really beautiful
Looks like a rocket
funnel
ship.
shape. But it almost looks like rocket type engineering, and then you walk up close. Can you look for A2 wind tunnel?
And it's like all particle board.
It's made of plywood. It's hilarious.
Have
but it
you
was
been
really
to
cool.
the Los Angeles Science Center and
Yes.
seen the was it Endeavor?
Yeah.
that
cool.
engineering
Yeah.
nerdiness. If
And you want to
get-
engineer geek out?
There it is, top left.
Get
Tim.
the jet engine.
Get the proper tour at JPL in Pasadena,
I wanna
like
do
the
that.
insider tour.
Can you get that?
Friends and
I
family do it
had
once
like
a year.
I had lunch with the director of the Lunar Rover program. Me and my 15-year-old geek son were like, these guys are 3D printing and sintering titanium into stainless. Like, what?
Cool.
Like fusing them on a molecular level. Like, it was so cool. It
What
was such a geek day.
Movie came out recently that was so heavily involved with JPL. I wanted to.
Arrival.
Yeah. Right.
They were like the ones that helped solve the problem.
They have such a cool story. And you know what's neat? They just recently, they just lost her to, I think, Microsoft, but there's this super cool, super sexy Japanese girl, Jessie, who was their resident designer because they had, they've been around forever and they realized, when we're doing these missions and we're building these just batshit whatever satellites or whatever, like we'll take pictures of the planet that we're checking out, but we're in a selfie culture. So like they hired her as a designer to think that through and make JPL more relevant. Mm-hmm. So literally they designed an arm on the satellite that can take a selfie so the satellite can take a picture of itself with the bitchin' planet behind it.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
All these concepts from
That does add a lot of perspective though to the photo.
Massively
Yeah,
impactful. And like from
That's
stuff
super
like
cool.
that to like super rudimentary, like they're on Amazon buying parts for test satellites for like shit they're putting in orbit. They're buying like a GoPro and a this and a that. And it
Thruster.
works.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Pretty amazing.
They have such a neat culture over there. I had a great time.
I guess it makes the Omega Moonwatch seem a little less cool if they're just sending GoPros to space now. It's not a fucking problem. The premium on the Moonwatch, I think, needs to come down. Check out that picture real quick before we move on from it, because that's the wind tunnel, the exterior of the wind tunnel at the A2 Center. And
I like that they let some hippie paint it.
yeah,
to make
right.
It more
And the
engaging.
end you're looking at, like approximately where the yellow meets the orange. So it's a big flared cone at the end, and that is sort of a vortex thing. And then it changes color to orange, from yellow to orange, and that's about where the fans are. And there's like 6 or 8 huge fans at one end, and then there's suction fans at the other end.
I feel
And
like
it flares
if,
back out at the back end.
If Puff the Magic Dragon had a sarcophagus,
Well, there's the inside too. The picture that's the inside.
I just heard a really cool aerodynamic
cool-looking
story.
stuff.
So Zagato, right, when they were starting to really focus, they're always about losing weight for Alfa or Ferrari, whoever the client was, to make the car simply more competitive. And they were Italian, so make it more beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
But when they started like studying and how, the Coda Tronca, that harsh cut rear tail line that they started.
Sort of like a camback, but for a coupe,
yeah,
right?
just a different name for it. But Coda Tronca is cut tail. But how they ended up developing that. So Ercole Spada is a friend of mine, and he and Mr. Zagato, they had no money. Like Ercole's design center was a industrial table in the middle of the workshop. Like
the name Spada is like the Spada.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Right? Was it Codatronica?
Yeah,
Was that it?
Coda, something like that.
Something
so
like
that's
that, right?
his son Paulo, who's
Okay.
a great guy. But Daddy Ercole was the first lead at Zagato for design.
Oh, okay,
So he
cool.
did the DB4 Zagato Barchetta. I mean, not Barchetta, but the coupe, and like marvelous cars all the way through to the first 7 series. But he said the way because
really?
they got really
Interesting.
interested in aerodynamics, but had no money. So Ercole took like sewing yarn or twine or whatever from his wife. They took tape from the office and a bottle of wine, and they went out on a country road near the shop, and they'd take turns. One would sit on the side in a little folding chair with his bottle of wine, and they'd tape these little pieces of twine all over the car,
Yeah.
and they'd roar by.
Telltales.
Yeah.
Like for sailing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they would just study how they
Yeah.
reacted, and they'd take the car back to the shop and mock up a flare, mock up a wing. And they literally got the idea. So they went back, cut the ass off the car, taped in some panels to close it out, took it back out, and the flow was cleaned up. And
So
they're like,
cool.
boom, there you go.
That's awesome.
So don't need no
Very cool.
wind tunnel. Huh?
No, it's what you would do.
Same study.
Do you know sail?
Yeah.
That's what you do with,
Yeah,
with
totally.
Telltales.
Well,
It's how you adjust your sails if they're looking good and
they had
Yep.
one of those. I rode a helicopter for the first time last week, and they had one of those on the
fun,
front, just one of them. And I was like, and it's being pushed back towards the cockpit because that's what we're doing forward. And I was like, at what point is that going a different direction, but you're not aware of it? Like you're
right. Or what you know
need
shit's really gone wrong when it's pointing the opposite way. It's pointing into where you're going, and you have a problem.
And when you're like, I'm not sure which way we're going. Let me look at the thread.
Yeah.
Very strange to rely on.
I got a great flight once. My best helicopter flight ever was in Vancouver up to Blackcomb Mountain, like most gorgeous land on the planet, right? In one of those, they called it a grasshopper. So it was like basically agricultural. So it's that full plexi bug
big round thing.
eye in the front, and that's it. So you could see, experience. Oh my goodness.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty
epic.
cool. I think Red Bull videos have ruined me because those guys like.
You're like, can you do some backflips?
It's
bro?
like, can you fly along this cliff and drop down like the
upside down though?
The proximity thing's awesome, but we flew out of Vegas, flew to the Grand Canyon, dipped in it, and came back out. But the whole flight there, it's like after about 20 minutes, you're like, all right, we're just kind of going slow and making a lot of noise.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like flying Cessnas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It
Unless
confirmed,
you're flying,
I don't care about flying.
Have you ever gone up to
that.
Santa Rosa for the open house day at that small airport? It's
No.
supposed to be like the hidden treat.
Really?
Like it's a nonprofit or a museum or whatever they call it, but it's an active airfield. So they make, I think it's whatever the minimum is for certification as a nonprofit. Like 2 times a year they have to have an open house.
Yeah.
And like there's like baller car collections.
Really?
And private resto shops and vintage plane restos. Like it's supposed to be really, really fun.
I've never ever heard of this before. And now we can have the new thing.
We're going to have to
what
look
time of
into
year
it
is
and
do you
go.
know?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll have to find out. Can we talk about your watch?
Sure, let's
I'm
talk
super
about
excited.
my watch. Me too.
Sorry,
So is
people.
PayPal.
We're talking about watches now. Sometimes people love the watches. Some people feel like.
I was in my Instagram feed there when I was traveling. They're like, "Where are all the trucks, dude?"
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, my bad for having a life.
I know exactly right for having more than one
Yeah.
singular focus
Sorry.
in life. God
Yeah.
forbid I talk about a boat or a watch fucking once in a while. It's not like it's not exactly down the same aisle of shit too.
Oh, totally. Especially
So-
car guys and watch guys. If you're one and not the other, I've never met you.
But now,
Right?
I'm not talking
Same
about
guy.
the watch that you're wearing on your wrist, which is also very nice, vintage, cool Longines. I'm talking about you made a watch.
I did. I'm so excited. It's been like 3 years bubbling in my head.
We
and
can pull up your stock photo, but you've
the
got
texture
one
on the back's
too.
real cool.
Yeah, fine.
It's a nice kind of.
So it's a
weird
60
dichotomy of the front.
PSI silica blasted T2 titanium finish.
I knew.
Yeah. And then the front's T5 titanium, which
The front's like
polishes
super
better.
slick,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, it's like very smooth and soft to the touch, and then the back is
Yeah,
like
it's been such a
icon
fun
matte
Hold that
finish.
one up to that
process to
camera in
make it
front of you
do.
there, John. Can you get closer? It's a pretty wide angle lens. Look at that. So, it's a it's a weird watch, right? And this is why it's cool, because it is a watch not like other watches. And having just been to a watch factory, I went to the Ulysse Nardin factory in Switzerland, which is real cool. But when you see how watch movements are made, it's like, holy shit. And your watch doesn't even have hands that go around. Your watch has like a whole other thing going on. So explain how the Duesey works.
Well, I mean, I've been sketching watches since I was about 8 when I started sketching cars. That's the 2 things I was automatically like geeking out on and designing and rendering and having fun with and curious about. And many years ago, when I first got like up close and personal with a Duesenberg SJ, I, as a watch geek, was drawn to the speedo and the tachometer, because as a watch guy, I always like jump hours, which is the whole idea of, basically digital indications. So it's 5:59, and then when it's 6, it jumps literally, and the 6 comes into that aperture or frame.
As opposed to seeing half a 5 and half a 6.
Exactly,
Right.
which sucks.
Yeah.
So my design is a jump hour and a wandering minute. So the minutes are a very slow curve. They just go around that arc, and they never jump. So it's
really
more
cool.
gentle.
I dig it.
It's
Thank
really like different and cool. I'm glad it doesn't look normal at all.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be enough if it looked just like a normal
exactly.
watch.
I think my next one might be a little bit more normal, but with unique coloration. We'll see.
I've got to show you. I saw a really ugly Cartier watch that had one of those front rotors that was like a panther or something that went. If it was a gecko, and you did it, it would be cooler.
Come on now, I only did my gecko on the rotor.
I saw it on the
kept
back.
it more gentle.
Now what is this movement? What's entailed with this movement?
So it's a Dupree-Duprat complication on a base ETA. And everyone chews my ass in the watch world. Oh, why isn't it a bespoke one-off? Because I don't want only 2 dudes on the world to be able to fix it or have parts for it. So the Dupree Duprat is, they're ancient and one of the best for complications on a Bosch's from Valjoux or ETA or whoever. So
Hard to say that without
it's bespoke and the function is unique, but any watch repair place on the planet can handle it.
That's good to know. That is uniquely you.
You can get into trouble. That's why I put LSs and Rolls Royces. Damn the critics. But yeah, I mean, it just had been something I wanted to do forever, and I originally I went to the Basel show a couple years ago, really thinking more about it's like if it's in my head too long, I have to get it out. So I just wanted to make one custom for myself. And it's like, how much? Fuck that. Like, that's not going to happen. And then I realized
the Enzo Ferrari model. Shit, I've got to make some to sell to other people.
Yeah, to hopefully pay for mine. So, no, I just decided, you know what? It makes sense for the brand. And I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go for it. And so I CAD modeled it 100% myself. I went actually back to school with a great tutor from Autodesk to retrain in a precision CAD that would do this scale of precision I need. I just blew my head off in CAD and 3D printed a bunch of samples at this shop. I made the prototype band and sent it to the company in Italy we partnered with for the band and drove them fucking crazy because I knew exactly what I want because I'm into leather work.
You were like a supplier's fucking nightmare because you can actually make everything that you need them to make.
Well, don't cross over because I'm sure they like it when someone can speak the language, but then it's like, oh, he's fluent and he has ideas.
It's dangerous, yeah. So I know just enough to be dangerous, but the company I chose in Switzerland is like one of the oldest houses for doing watch manufacture. And they're like one of those companies that makes the watches for a lot of the big companies that tout their craftsmanship and in-house and they don't have shit. It's all marketing veneer. And these are the dudes actually making it. So that was good and that was bad. Like I had some novel finishes and materials I wanted to integrate that they just could not get their head around. Wait till I try and get them to do a derelict watch. No. It's got to be all fucked up. So like, I don't know, sprinkle some carbon on the porcelain as you fire it. And like, that's going to be interesting. But, long process. I was hyper ADHD on every last detail and getting the lizard into the crown ergonomic value, the porcelain, or rather I ended up using onyx, double dome sapphire, double coated anti-reflective. Like I probably drove them crazy, but at least I came with a clear vision and we didn't hem and haw. And I came to them with done CAD models. Yeah. Which they said actually had never happened. Usually they'll get a napkin sketch or a reference photo. And look, I'm just tickled pink if I can continue to have great sales with it, sell it out, and then I'm going to dump all that money right back into it. Sold out half, and they're not ready yet.
That's pretty
good.
So
that's cool. Yeah, I'm stoked.
How many? Can we say how many?
Yeah, I'm doing a total of 50.
Okay, cool.
And they're 11.5, so they're not cheap, but they're not crazy.
In the luxury watch world, they're not crazy. That's for a low volume product,
it's hardly profitable at 50 units. It's a train wreck.
Oh yeah,
I think
crazy.
It's real cool. It reminds me of hot rod gauges, like all that stuff. It's kind of black tie. I mean,
someone chewed my ass online on some watch magazine that did a wonderful. All the reviews have been great.
No, I read the article in Hodinkee. It was good.
So this one guy though posts in the comments on like Watch Time or whatever, big blog, and he's like, "Yeah, just what I want to do." Put a bathroom scale on my wrist. And I was like,
funny.
Well, shit, now that you mention it, I can see where you're coming from.
That's cold as ice, but that's really funny.
It's pretty damn funny.
Can I put this on or does this need to be a never worn?
That's the prototype, and it's been around the block. I've been slutting it out.
Is this the Village bitch?
Yeah, totally.
I'll rock this.
Because I don't have production yet. But here's a fun story.
Is this Sapphire Crystal?
Yeah.
So can you can wear it? And
it's highly
is it going to be a tough watch?
Yeah.
It's a titanium back, right?
Yeah,
titanium
it's all
case?
titanium construction,
Cool.
T2 and T5.
You got to do like a brass one.
I want to accept it. I worry it's jumping the shark already because so many watch companies are doing it. But there's very interesting brass silica alloys that have unique properties and alternate patina fade patterns.
Ooh, straight.
Or there's DLC coatings you can do to control and put the patina exactly where you want it and then seal it.
This is
Yeah.
this thing. I'm sorry. This thing is super tough to fucking photograph, dude.
It is impossible.
How do you photograph
to
this
photograph.
thing?
3 days
It's like
and a lot of
super
patience
dark.
and a little bit of Photoshop.
I'm trying so hard, but like, it's like impossible to.
Yeah, it
just take a
reflects
picture of
like
it. Oh, there we
crazy.
go. I mean, I got a reflection, but.
So
Sorry,
here's a fun
podcast
story, though.
people. You're
Podcast
suffering while I
people.
take a picture of
You
John's wife.
ambitious, young, capitalist, upstart creators, if you're going to do something and you're going to launch it, I want to tell you a quick story about our lovely friends at PayPal. So I've had an account with PayPal, never had a problem. I've had an account since PayPal was PayPal, right? I introduce the watches. I do all the media. I tell my story. I clearly say, I'm going to deliver them in the first quarter of 2018. You can leave a deposit now, or if you want to reserve a production number, which watch geeks like to do, you can pay in full. Everything's good. Sell like 23, 24 of them. PayPal sends me a notice and says, yeah, all this income into your account right now, that's different from what you normally do. I'm like, duh, because I'm usually selling like T-shirts and a couple automotive parts. They go, yeah, well, you're in watch and luxury, and we checked your credit. It was only $790. So
Only? That seems like pretty decent credit score.
it's like, yeah, don't get into they froze the money. They won't allow me to access the funds.
Uh-oh.
They're not going to allow me to access any of the funds until they're all sold, all delivered. Then they'll let me have everything but 150 grand of it, which they're going to hold in escrow.
Until what happens?
Thank you. And right now, the whole point of this, and the only way I sold it to my wife and the more intelligent team of me at the shop was, here's how we're going to do it, and we'll pre-sell it. And if we sell half of them up front, we're good to get the production order rolling and stuff, and it's good for cash flow. So now that money's sitting in there, PayPal's making money on it. I've yelled, screamed, bitched, whined, and contested enough that they say, you can't ask for another review for 6 months. And there's nothing in writing that declares how and when they can do such things. They're not FDIC regulated, so they can basically do whatever they want. So friends, hear me. If you're going to start a new venture,
Don't
use
fucking take PayPal.
conventional e-commerce payment processors and fly a big, fat, shaky, stinky bird at PayPal.
Wow.
I'm so pissed
That
at them.
sucks. Can you
For no
can you
reason.
sue for the money?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just what I need to do in
Yeah,
my
I know.
spare time. Sue PayPal.
I mean, do you think you'll just get it eventually?
Right now, I'm the small fry. I have no choice. So I have to lick my wounds, keep blowing cash. And eventually I'll get it. But
Without reason, though. It's weird that they do it without reason, and then it's like,
and they
hold
refuse
on
to
it,
clearly
invest
define the
it.
reason. It's
Right.
just bullshit.
So what if you, quote, sold them all at 25? What if you said, it's a run of 25 now, not a run of 50? Then do they just give you your money?
Well, that's the fun part. I'm like, all right, fuck them. I'll go to my normal e-commerce guy. I'll stop sales on the site and I'll move on. They're like, no, we already set our mandate. So they want to make sure I'm stuck with them through the full 50 units.
Ugh.
I'm like, all right, well, so if I wire you schmucks like 400 grand tomorrow and I reach your quota,
Yeah.
we good? They're like, sure, yeah, we're good then. You're going to pay 3% in and 3% out.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Isn't that nice? Helping the little man, helping
Yep.
small businesses succeed in America.
Let me tell you
PayPal.
something. On a similar note, I was on these boats in Newport today, and as we're driving past some of the houses with the larger deep water docks and some of the larger boats and the multiple boats, it was, that's the CEO of lending company A. That's the CEO of lending company B.
Right, and they're
That's
all
the guy
financial
who
transaction
found
companies. Not
Lending
people
Tree.
actually do anything, make an impact, improve culture,
Move
design.
from A to
My
B,
favorites.
collect 3. Yeah.
By the way, if
That sucks,
you got to
dude.
go to
That's so
Turkey.
shitty.
Turkey rocks. And as a
Where
boat,
is the spot in Turkey to go?
okay, so as a boat and architectural geek, and I'll get you a ride on the right boat.
Yes,
you got to
please.
just cruise the Bosphorus. So like one side is technically Asia. The cultures are distinctly different between the two. Both are lovely and the people are great. But the Bosphorus, the properties and the architecture lining the Bosphorus is like ancient, like Art Nouveau is like the newest thing you're going to see.
Uh-huh.
And it's the most expensive real estate in the world.
Globally.
Globally.
Really?
Because of its position, its relevance for global trade, where it is between Asia and Europe and Mideast. Like,
are we talking
it
about
doesn't
commercial
get any
properties or
better.
homes?
No.
Can we
Ballers
see if we
and
can find
houses.
any pictures, Tim, of the Bosphorus Strait?
Unbelievably cool.
I've actually been buying watch straps from a guy in Istanbul called Bosphorus Leather.
Really?
And the quality is excellent.
Oh, I gotta
I'll
look him up.
plug him for free. It
I
takes him a
never,
long ass time to get the straps. It takes like 3 weeks to get them, but the quality is like really ace.
Because I rated all the leather suppliers. There's a whole neighborhood in Turkey.
Really?
That's just wholesale leather.
I would not be surprised at all if this guy works
Super,
around
super,
there.
super
Oh, look at
cool.
that! Wow, cool crib.
Yeah,
So
and
this
that's
is the
like
kind of stuff
one
we're
of a
looking at?
gazillion.
Yeah.
It's so.
Is it like Lake Como meets kind of, I don't know, something Asian?
Yeah.
I don't know.
mean,
What the
it-
fuck? I've never been there.
It's Italian Asian fusion.
Yeah. There you go.
Lo
But like
mein.
great taste, great architecture,
Yeah.
great people, and the boats that are all around there. Of course, you just are like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Just
Wow, that's a
stupendous.
crazy building right there. What's that? That's got to
Looks
be
like it's-
religious or government in nature.
or
But that's
clo-
dope.
Don't
Closed up
believe
for
so.
a
I
while.
think that's a private house, and on its
Really?
it's closed because it's out of season in that shot. Literally, like 20 yards
don't
to
go
the
there in
right
December.
is Riz's pad.
Oh,
Riz's
really?
Pad,
Oh,
yeah.
this is right next to where you were. Okay. So what's the climate here? Just dope Mediterranean
Yep.
all the time?
Yep.
Yeah.
Super
Does
cool.
he have
and then go
a
to
dock with-
Bodrum, where they is like the historical spot where they build the traditional gallet. I always thought it was galet, but it's actually quite
What's
bluntly
gallet?
pronounced gallet. So a GALET is a traditional wooden sailboat native to Turkey, and they're lovely.
Oh.
And all the
Can
original
you show me a gallant?
craftsmen and supporting shops
GALET.
are all still there in that town.
I dated a
Super cool.
Turkish chick for a while, and she was from Istanbul. She was like she went to Boston University or as an exchange student. Actually no, she went to Brandeis, which is a Jewish school. She was a Muslim from Turkey and on an exchange program. And
That's quite the exchange.
no one fucking told her until she got there. Hysterical to find that out. Wow, that's gangster if that's
They're
what a gallet
super-
is.
yeah.
A gallet is a giant wooden sailing yacht. The one we're looking at appears to be a center cockpit catch rig.
And that ain't nothing. Like the ballers are
That ain't nothing.
three-mast,
That's gangster as fuck. That's got to be
140
65,
foot.
70 feet.
The last
140 foot?
The first time I went to Turkey, I managed to hitch a ride with a friend who had won use of one of the monster gallets in like a charity auction.
So gallet is just giant wooden sailing yacht?
Yeah, but their hull and definition and the arc of the belt line is very unique to their
It's like
construction style.
almost pirate shippy. Mm-hmm. Very classic.
Yeah,
Big
gorgeous.
money, I imagine.
Yeah.
Are they
but
real
the
wood or do they just
crafts-
look like
Oh, no,
wood?
they're no bullshit. All handmade.
Really?
Yeah, and the craftsmanship is like, the dude who did
cool.
that joinery on the railing, like
Fuck, look at
his
that
great granddad worked for the same company. So it's like literally a lost art.
That is-
passed
Well,
down.
that
is
one
beautiful.
is weird. That one
That's
has
more
has a
techno-modern,
modern cockpit on pilot house on top of like a real old school hull.
That's
is
kinda cool.
Really fucking cool. Imagine that with a Wally cockpit on top of it like a stealth ship.
Yeah,
it would
no.
look weird as fuck.
Yeah.
But that's kind of neat.
That's cool. That works. It's kind of like an old Chris Craft cockpit. You ever see Clark Gable's Chris Craft? It was many years ago. It was
No.
for sale in Marina Del Rey, and I
Really?
had no business, but I was jonesing for it. It was like custom built for him, and it was long.
Like a little
and cool.
runabout or a big Chris Craft?
No, big boy.
Okay.
I mean, not a monster. What, 50, 60 foot probably?
Yeah, like a Constellation or one of those. Yeah.
Or the JFK boat with the famous bar stools made
Yeah.
out of the whale penis leather.
Yeah,
Love
that's where
that one.
Darts got the inspiration for those trucks. There's a guy, so I know a guy in Marina Del Rey who bought J. Paul Getty's boat, which is 120 foot from the 30s, I guess,
Oh,
20s,
wow.
30s, and it was sort of a wreck when he bought it.
Oh yeah.
And he refinished it at a cost of what I think was about $2 to $3 million and refitted it, but left the original engines, steam engines. These fucking
Oh,
things.
God.
Right. Well, they don't go very far. Very.
I'd leave
often.
those on the dock.
I don't
on
know why they
display.
did. There's like 3 of these engines left globally.
This is the boat we saw on 4th of July.
Yes.
Okay.
And they take it out once a year and have a 4th of July party on it, and they live on it the rest of the time in the marina. It's stunning and incredible.
It's like a double decker.
Yeah.
Almost looks like a miniature casino boat type thing.
Kind
Or
of,
boat,
yeah.
little
It's
bit.
like it's a party yacht from the 20s, and there's only
the
one
prohibition
guy.
solution is just get out. What is it? A mile out. And
Yeah.
just party on
Prohibition
Exactly.
pontoons. Come to Havasu.
There's one guy in the world who can drive it. He's the guy who services the engines and drives, and he flies down from Seattle to
So that
drive
takes a
the
level
boat.
of patience I just
Yeah.
don't have.
No.
I'd have to try and
You
like
take
do a
JFK's,
derelict
you take
out of
Clark
that.
Gable's boat and put a fucking LS motor.
Hell yes, I would.
Then you
3
can
of
use
them,
it.
baby.
This guy has to coordinate with the guy to fly down, and you can't really use your boat unless you want to.
Well, you know, Volvo
rad, though.
Volvo Penta Marine, which is killing it right now with his IPS drives and the joysticks and all that this cool stuff. And my dad's boat has Volvo Pentas, and a lot of the boats I'm doing videos with have Volvo Pentas. Their diesels are kick-ass. They have a twin-charge diesel supercharger that spools up while you're accelerating, and then it disconnects, and you have
Oh,
a turbo.
yummy.
Oh, wow.
But their gas motors are all LS engines. Every Volvo Penta gas motor is an LS motor.
Really?
you
I didn't
fucking-
know that.
Yeah,
That's
so you can get a
interesting.
5.3, you can get a 6.0, a 6.2, all the way up to 8.2 liters.
Back when Toyota had their
LS motor.
new marine division and they were building boats, it's like 15 years, 12 years ago or so now, and they were using the I-Forces. So when Toyota scrapped that program, I happened to be at TRD for a meeting anyway, and I look out in the back like alley behind TRD's facility. They had about 40 of those motors in a line with ECUs, standalone harnesses, the whole nine. And they've got like day laborers standing there with like 20-pound sledgehammers and chisels. Kaboosh! And they're blowing holes
Sorry.
in the short blocks. And I'm like, stop! And I was like, no. Like, just, I'll take them all. Like, just sell me. Like, oh, we're golden and we're good. And Toyota's like so litigious. They're like, no, for liability
Yeah.
reasons, we must destroy them.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them brand new in a line with still
That's how I
harnesses,
feel about-
which you can't get from Toyota officially
Yeah.
for anything.
crazy.
Like,
We-
they don't play that game.
We drive pre-production cars all the time, and I'll find out that a car is getting crushed, and I'll beg to do
Yeah, okay.
anything with any fucking part of it. I don't care.
So
You know.
I did a custom LX 570 when they first came out for Lexus, and they came to me and they said, "Look, we want something that'll appeal to like less the golfer dude and more like Land Rover sport kind of guy. So do whatever you want." So I went off and we did like, it's so not my style. It was like right as Icon was starting. It was something we really did through TLC, but like, you know, whatever, custom 22s and two-tone matte paint, get rid of all the wood
Cannot
inserts,
imagine you ever
autoclave
doing
it all
this
in
shit.
carbon, like whatever. It was cool. Well, the show's
Was
end.
it, John? Was it?
No, it was cool. I dug it. Not my thing, but like killer. They forgot about it.
I'm sorry.
They forgot about it.
They
So it
forgot
was
to
supposed to
collect
go to
it
like
after the
LA, New
show?
York, Chicago, and then some dweeb execs like, oh no, we don't want to show what they can't have.
Yeah.
Isn't that the point of me building
Yeah.
it? Like, we put a supercharger on, like, it was done. And then Toyota's like, oh, no, we can't show the public what they can't. What? So, like, I was a good boy. I left it in the warehouse for, like, 3 months. And then one day my wife's Land Cruiser is on the rack getting service. And I'm like, let's put a dealer plate on it. And then she liked the way it drove. And we just kept driving and kept driving. 2 years. Daily driver, all zeros on the VIN. And then one day Toyota comes like, I'm sorry to bother you. Could you check your records? Do you by chance? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's here. It's in the warehouse. So the lady was just
55,000 miles.
The lady was just so happy she found it because it was her ass.
Oh
and I'm like,
my
listen,
God.
though, like, what constitutes a vehicle? You know, I'm happy to return. Of course, it's your property. What constitutes a vehicle? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, for example, if I were to give you back a body, kind of an interior, and it was like on like 2 shopping carts. Is that a vehicle? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, because, you know, for prototyping and development, you know, I could utilize that chassis and powertrain, you know, and use those parts. And she's like totally out of her realm.
Yeah.
Like total, like, you know, looking through the file pack. She's like, I guess. Okay. So, man, we gutted that thing. Like, we spent like 40 hours forensically, you know, marking every circuit. Oh, and I had plans. And I was going to take like an old FJ55 cruiser body, widen it. It was on. And then, so I go through all that effort and I deliver it back. And someone calls from Lexus just irate. I'm like, dude, so this girl, here's her name.
But she said-
I could. He goes, I don't care who said what. get it here. And now we're like, oh, really, Dad? We had to take it all down. Damn it.
Just in the back of like a
I
dump
thought
truck.
I finally worked the system.
You tried to weekend at Bernie's this thing. You're just like, it's easier.
alive.
It's the same truck. It just
not
looks
good.
different. Oh, it's dirty. That's why it looks that way.
That's
ridiculous.
super funny.
It was a fun experience.
The ball.
You know who's really figured out that game is Busy. Busimoto, you know Busy?
I don't know Busy.
Oh, he's a crazy guy who puts turbos on things.
Right.
He started his career building a 9-second Honda Insight with no turbo. A 9-second NA Honda Insight. Now he's got like 1,000 horsepower Odyssey and shit, and sticks turbos on Porsches. He's a fucking maniac. He's good fun.
So he gets does he get press cars and then mod them?
His real, his game, which is a genius game, is really just to build a series of SEMA cars. When your client is a manufacturer, it's like they don't bother you. You know what I mean? As long as the shit's ready for SEMA.
I did that a couple
But he
times,
ends up,
yeah.
he's got a warehouse like full of fucking...
Full of, he gets to keep them
full
after
of like,
the show.
yeah, he's got a warehouse full of like 1,000 horsepower Genesises and shit.
Just what everyone did not need.
It's really
By the
funny.
way, a friend of mine nailed it. You know the Honda CR-V?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what it stands for? Chick repellent vehicle.
Oh, it's a
Come on,
dad
doesn't get
joke.
any better than that.
Put that on a coffee mug.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. And now every time, since my friend told me I giggled, and now every time I see one, I giggle. So it has value. Don't
Sure.
be a dick.
Someone laughed.
It's okay. It's not
Someone
bad. It's not
somewhere.
If you laughed out there, tweet at icon
Give me some love. I thank God I'm not a comedian or a fashion consultant.
Oh my god.
Oh, boy.
This watch is so goddamn cool. Hey, where can people buy this thing? Did you plug that?
No, I didn't.
Where can people buy it?
Icon4x4.com or, just go to my main website and there's a whole section for it.
This thing is super cool, dude.
Thank you.
Is this is it a 40, 39 or 40 millimeter? It's on the smaller side.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too nutty, so I kept it at 41.
Okay. So you're not competing with Panerai. 41 is what like a Submariner is actually, a Rolex Submariner.
Yeah, but also like the shape and that hard chamfer on the side of it, it drafts up so high to the where it is 41 that on your wrist it doesn't feel that chunky.
Do you have a plan for a next watch?
I do have
Some
several
sketches.
So my wife Jamie won't let me start on that till these all sell, which is prudent.
Wait, this is a manual
sense.
wind only, or
Makes
this is
a
an
lot of
automatic watch?
It's an automatic, but that's a prototype, so the rotor's froze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm torn. I either want to do one that's more like jeans and t-shirt retro. It's based on an old Packard limousine backseat clock, so I want to call it the Pack or the Packard.
Cool.
That the design of it is just a subdial seconds, very simple watch, but the design of it allows for like umpteen different executions of material and color and finishing.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm dying to do a world time that's designed around vintage boat details. So like, the original
Like Riva.
full speed ahead. No.
Oh,
yeah.
like the
vintage-
kung. Oh, yeah.
Make
for
that
sure.
the aperture for the window of the
Yeah.
world time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a GMT world time, and I want to do I actually want to do the dial out of mahogany or teak,
That would be very cool.
and then use this
Yeah.
aerospace black material that just disappears, has like no sense of depth,
Uh-huh.
and then not seal the wood, let it patina and age and get funky. And that's the one that, like, if I were to do a brass or some sort of brass silicon alloy, that would be interesting to do.
Have you seen that material that's like the blackest material on earth?
That's Vantablack.
Yeah,
That's what I was
Vanta
referencing.
Black. So
Yeah.
if you had, if you want to put hands on one,
Dude,
for instance,
don't get me started.
A hands on that would
On
look like they
Vanta?
were floating,
Badass.
right? We gangster.
So as
Does
of
do these dial have
today-
luminant? By the way, these numbers.
Nah, I didn't
So
bother with
okay.
them. As of today, the Swiss Watch Federation does not approve Vanta Black. So
Oh,
I
really?
designed this watch with Vanta Black in mind since day one.
And they said no.
I had great relationships with the UK aerospace firm that developed it. I got the permits to export it out of England. I got allowance from the US government to import it into the States because it's like a military material.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Swiss wouldn't. They're like, no. We've
what
never
is the,
used
is
it
the
before.
material? Is it a paint?
Like your whole
what
industry
is
needs
it?
to wake up. Okay,
What's
so
the physical thing
it's
you
a
get?
grown nanoparticle. So
Uh-huh.
picture a microscopic forest of tall, skinny trees
Okay.
that are all black.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you're getting
like
the
a
sense-
crystalline, like stalactites,
Yeah,
kind of, or stalagmites. I think it would be.
Yeah, it'd be like mine.
From
But
like-
literally like a forest of trees from space, if those trees were black, you wouldn't see the ground and you couldn't discern the depth from top to bottom of trees.
And how thin can you make that material in terms of a watch style?
Thin, like watch friendly all day long.
Gangster.
Why does the Swiss Federation matter?
Because they still feel that any nanoparticle is a carcinogen. Despite health studies and everything that we had to say, wake up, that's like 12 years ago thinking, you're wrong. But I did just find another material that's a spray-on that, Vanna Black blocks out with 99.6 ambient light, and that's what's so revolutionary. This uppercomer suckerfish spray-on coating only does 92%. I'm good with 92% and no regulation.
To normal, does it look the same?
Same.
Yeah.
So I want to try that. I think that'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
I saw a really cool Reddit. This guy goes to Harvard and works in their applied mechanics, whatever division, or is a student there. And he wanted to make a watch for his friend that told the time in words in several languages. So he basically made a wooden square with alphanumeric cutouts in it, and then programmed a chip in it to to on the lights. It has a light grid under it, and it'll give you the time in big numbers. It'll give you the time written out 20 TWENT. Is really, really cool.
That's
and he
cool.
just did it for his roommate as a
crazy.
gift. And then everyone was so stoked on it, he started a
Kickstarter for $10 million.
MoMA
it went way over what he needed. He's like, these are $257. I'll make them in a lab. And $40,000 later, it was really rad.
Now he's in hell.
Yeah.
The MoMA has this killer, a 80s alarm clock where it flaps over, it doesn't digital analog deal.
Yeah.
So it's this circuit board driven white with black numeral, large ass wall digital. And every minute at the crest of the minute, each numeral is 6 or 8 spheres, and they rotate and come back and stop at a different point in rotation to create the next.
That's pretty
time.
crazy.
I
Have you
want
seen
one
those
bad.
MB&F
Yeah,
watches
those
and
dudes, they're nuts.
the
They're
crazy
batshit.
stuff and the Devon belt watch and there's all kinds of real.
Have you
crazy.
been in a room with a Devon belt watch?
Yeah, Justin Bell's got one.
They're so loud.
Yeah.
The
You ever
irony
see a
is,
Devon
though,
belt watch? Pull up a picture of Devon belt watch. I hate to talk about any watch that's not your watch.
no,
God
if someone likes a
forbid.
Devon, he's not going to like my watch.
Yeah, well,
Such a different beast.
Justin Bell worked with them. The belt one. There it is.
I like
That's
Justin.
it.
He's a good guy.
This thing is
Watch is
fucking
asinine
nuts.
big. What
It's
I want to know the
Devon belt
backstory.
watch is so crazy.
The dudes at Devon are never going to come clean with the backstory, I'm sure, and I respect that. But they originally made the watch, I was told from trusted sources, to try and get the darn car to sell because the
That
car
probably
wasn't
makes
moving
a lot
at all.
of sense. Yeah.
Now, I still don't think they've sold more than a handful of the cars. You never see them. You
No,
never
no,
hear
no. They
about
built
them.
2 cars and folded. There are 2.
Okay. So
One
isn't
is
that
bl-
interesting?
one is
that,
black
their
and one is black and red.
Kickstarter concept to get the car rolling ends up being the business.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Very strange.
The belt watch is kick ass though.
Did you notice how Icon's branded on the face of the watch?
It looks like it's.
So we
Well, you tell me.
metallized with a laser the sapphire. So it's actually burnt into the inside surface of the sapphire printed backwards.
Oh, that's kick ass.
So it's not
That's
in your
very cool.
face and you don't see
But
any
you can
branding
actually see a
unless you're at
reflection of it
certain
on the dial,
axis, you can
too.
see it.
That's
Yeah.
I bought this Invicta watch, no joke, 3 years ago, and whoever assembled it left a thumbprint on the inside of the glass.
Oh no.
So it's been fogged up for 3 years.
I got one better. I was at this crazy watch event, and this guy is like probably keeps Patek Philippe in business. He's that deep into Patek. Has a room vault full of Pateks.
Don't put my business in the street.
So he took me a second. So Patek made him something special, like a one-off, and they shipped it to him, and it was Patek Caliph. They put their own
Name
like
on
the
wrong.
best in the world put their name on wrong.
Probably worth more.
Did they do it on purpose
Okay.
though?
He said
You guys talk about air watches all the time.
He said-
hold the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
on.
yeah. No,
You
it's an
guys
ultimate
screwed
error
up.
watch.
Did they do it
It's
on
the
purpose?
Ultimate error watch.
No, they would never. They're so staid. And
It's the ultimate
tradition.
error
No
watch.
one in hell.
But
Okay.
it wouldn't be
Ultimate
funny
error
if
watch.
nobody believes it's real. It's the rarest
Right.
Patek in the world,
No, no,
and
no.
no one believes it's real.
That's very
Paddock
funny.
basically told him, because he said, this is cool. It's so rare if you guys fuck up. I'm keeping it. And they're like, okay, but here's the deal. If you keep it, we're never going to sell you another watch again, ever, period. You're out. They basically made him send it back.
Oh
No.
Like, come on, I'm like, dude, show me a picture.
You
He's
know
like,
what? If this
"Nah,"
dude
and
was,
they made me.
if
I'm
this
like,
dude
"Oh,
was
come
really,
on."
Sucks.
if this dude was really gangster, I would have said,
Right,
"Fuck
he was
y'all,"
like, "Fuck
then,
you, there's
and
eBay
then
for
called
your watch.
every fucking watch blog and be like, "Look what I got, motherfucker,"
Totally.
and rack that thing up. You know, I just had an idea for this watch. Actually, I mean, I'm sure you hear all the ideas in the world. You don't need mine. However,
love it.
I'm going to give you one anyway.
Bring it on.
I have a Rolex GMT from the 80s.
Right.
With a crazed dial.
Yeah.
And they were painting, whatever they made the dials out of, a bunch of them cracked.
It was a pigment failure. Yeah.
Yeah, and most people had a replacement dial under warranty or whatever, so there's not a lot of crazed dials left. This would be kick-ass with a crazed dial.
So here forward, whatever watch I make, I'm hoping to have enough volume to be able to make a derelict version of every watch.
If this was exactly
Which
the
is gonna
same
be
thing, but
all
the black
about
was
that.
all cracked up, that would be kick-ass.
That would be killer. I'd be super happy to pull
Yeah.
that off.
This is a really neat watch. I mean, it photographs well. It's weird. It's like it's super, super different, but really cool piece, man.
Thank
really
you.
nice.
Yeah,
Thanks
it was
for
a really
bringing that.
incredible process to do, and I'm just hoping I get to do it again and again. And
I hope
again
so,
and again
too.
And again.
Could you? I mean, is there an argument for literally like just changing the color of the dial and doing something like that?
I think it's kind of a schmo thing to do. Although, yeah, for me, it'd be super efficient. I think the biggest slut move like that I might do is I'm really happy with my case design and my crown. So I might next or in a future model revisit that case, but
Yeah,
different
yeah.
dial, different hands,
That makes
different
sense.
interface.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would fault you for making.
No, I can
two
get away with
watches.
that. But if like my next watch is this,
Now you're
You gotta have you? Do you know Cameron Weiss?
yeah, I know Cameron's a good guy. He's a friend.
You got to work with Cameron Weiss, man.
Well,
This
I
gotta be a
wanted to,
thing
but
you
he
gotta
didn't have
work-
the scale. I wanted to do a U.S. movement.
Yeah.
But he wasn't
do it
there
yet?
yet. He was so busy trying to
know.
scramble to meet his own demand.
to
you
make
know?
my watch and
Yeah.
Zach's watch.
Exactly.
You wearing your Weiss watch?
He
You
is.
are- You are, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
took
great, man.
note. Yes, hats off to Cameron. He's a great guy. Him and his wife are making an impact. They're impacting the culture and the whole watch scene needs to be
good for
torn up
America.
by geeks like us.
Good for America.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Can we talk about Porsches for a second? Because
Sure.
you guys were arguing outside or discussing outside.
What did we talk about? What were we talking about outside?
You want a Carrera, and then you thought that they didn't have turbos.
Yeah,
no,
I'm
they
not
do,
like
but they
that,
do now.
apparently.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
problem.
But
That's not the
all-wheel
problem. They're
drive,
great.
7-speed manual, killer color, sign me up.
They have that. The GTS is really the one, and I say that I have a Turbo S this week, and it is, whew, it's so good at everything. It rides. The ride for a car that can do that, the ride is ridiculous.
But the Turbo S, is there a manual?
No.
So fuck that. I'm out.
The Turbo S is
fast.
I can't play that.
You
So
need
good.
it's PDK
I know
only.
PDK is remarkable.
No, the one for you is a GTS, which is a turbo 3-liter twin turbo.
Right.
It has bigger turbos than the Carrera and the Carrera S. So
Right.
it's got some hardware. It's got center lock
it's
wheels.
got a
It's
girly
black,
tranny, right?
No, blacked out trim, manual or PDK, your choice.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought that was only on the.
Nope. Manual or PDK, your choice. I drove a Carrera 4 GTS manual on the press launch. It was fucking great. It's
Well,
really, really,
If it
really
wasn't
fast.
for PayPal,
Really
I
fast.
could have placed my order.
God damn it! You
But I have a
still get one.
993
place your order on
twin
PayPal.
turbo, so
That's-
I'm doing just fine. I'm not
That's class.
complaining.
It's almost too valuable for you to drive.
That's the other
Fuck
problem.
me.
But I
Ooh,
think
look
they're
at this.
starting to go back down.
Just showing me
Yeah, the
pictures of
bubbles
ghost
pop-
bezel tutors like a
releasing a little
boss. Gangster.
That's on eBay, and I want it, but the guy who's selling it's a prick. I emailed him once and asked.
Glad
a
we know
question,
what this show
and
is
he's
really
like,
for you. For you to the John
Air
Ward
your-
airs
your commerce
his
grievances.
No,
grievances.
the guy
Got
says,
any
yeah,
commenters you want to
read
shit
my
on?
listing. I'm like, I did, and it's not there. So I said, look, it looks great, but that kind of patina often means water damage. Could you show me the movement and the inside of the case back?
Yeah. No.
Not worthy of being answered
No.
No, because he wants to sell it.
because
somewhere
it's
else,
all
doesn't give a
water
shit.
damage
Yeah.
and I don't know, whatever.
Or he doesn't have a tool to take off the case
oh,
back.
come on.
I don't have
He has like 100 watches
Okay,
listed.
well,
He's
all right.
a
If
retail
he's got a
store in New
oh,
York.
if he's a store, yeah, okay. Then if you're a
No.
store, you have no excuse.
I should stick to the trusted
No.
sources.
If you're a store, you have no excuse. I didn't hear the part that he was a store.
I hadn't
That's
shared
bad.
it, so
Okay. Well,
there you go. There's
stores.
that. Should we mention a car or two?
No, we're done.
No? We done?
Yeah.
All right.
We just talked
probably
about. We
hung
talked
up a
about
while
boats.
ago.
We talked about some
That's
cars.
true. We just talked
Devin
about Porsche.
talked
We talked
about
about cars.
Lancia.
Oh, we're good.
We talked about a
Okay.
bunch of cars.
All right,
We're
just
golden.
checking.
Thanks for coming by.
Sweet. Thanks for
Super.
having me. Always good fun to be with you guys.
One more time, where can someone buy the watch who's interested?
Just you can enjoy or buy or bash everything I do at icon4x4.com.
and on Instagram.
Yeah.
And dude, your boys' yachts. We're gonna find a way. Fort Lauderdale Yacht Show.
Definitely.
I would love to go with
if
you.
Razaz's
I'll make you
there,
an employee of the Smoking Tire, and we can get press
and
passes.
we got to do. You got to do a spot on his stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's just so
so
fresh.
what a tough day that would be on the
Right?
on the 44 meter. Whatever the fuck.
We'll go over to Cuba for dinner.
I'm going to Miami the second. What? Really?
You could do that.
Why not?
I don't know. How fast is that?
If you
boat
pull
go?
that up
Is it a
and
quick
drive by
boat?
Guantanamo,
With a
they
broken
will let
crank,
you in.
not very
A
fast.
broken crank,
but-
half as fast as it could go before.
Yeah.
You could park that in Guantanamo. No one would notice.
Right?
Yep.
Totally.
Just pull right in.
I love boats, dude. I wish like
I love friends boats.
yeah,
Slightly
I know.
different formula.
You know what I just did? Here's a great one. Well, before we get out here, I just joined the Marina Sailing Club.
Right.
So you pay a quarterly fee. It's very reasonable. And they have fleets of sailboats all over Southern California. So 6 marinas. So it's like Newport, San Diego, Long Beach, Redondo Beach, Marina del Rey, Ventura.
It's like the auto share of boats.
It's like the classic car club of boats. They've got
That's
like
cool.
50 sailboats.
And they have,
I
like,
booked a
cool
sailboat for
stuff,
Saturday.
Or just like modern fiberglass, whatever.
No, nothing classic like that. But it's pretty goddamn cheap, honestly. So I got a boat for this Saturday. I'm so super excited that we're gonna be sailing. So
Killer.
other people's boats,
That's the way to
fully
go.
insured,
Fully insured.
fully
other people's
insured
boats.
other
Better
people's boats.
Yet.
That's what that thing with Crown and Caliber is going to be. Fully insured other people's watches.
That's a good thing.
That's why I
No,
did a
their
thing
whole
with.
model's brilliant. You know what though? We need to talk Riza into letting us test and video document one of his boats through like Croatia.
Hell
I
yeah.
haven't been there yet. I want
Yes.
to go to Croatia.
Bro, let's.
That's a trip.
I'm in already in.
We gotta have dinner first and see if our wives are cool and don't kill each other.
Oh,
And
Hannah
then,
would.
like, I'll-
Hannah would hate Croatia. She'd be miserable. No.
No, I'm saying Hannah and Jamie. We got to make sure that works.
Oh,
and
Hannah's
then
the
I
best.
can sell it to Riza in heartbeat.
Hannah's
and his
the best.
wife's
She'll get along
super
with me.
cool.
Yeah.
She's a 2-time Olympic champion Cuban volleyball goddess.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Wow.
super cool.
Wow.
That's pretty
She like
cool.
7 feet tall.
Oh, yummy, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Icon 4x4.com.
Yes, sir.
That Rolls is ridiculous. Look at the
So
go watch
good.
the video on my Instagram
Oh,
of
it's
this
so
Rolls.
good.
It's crazy.
Interior, ooh, so nice.
Yeah, that is a
headliner
that's a build.
material, whatever that is. Good.
Your customer is
So
going to be
good.
quite happy with that. You got a lot more development miles, do you?
Oh, yes, sir. Definitely. couple track laps, you know.
Oh yeah, you're running that thing at
Mulholland
Optima.
runs. Yeah.
We didn't
Oh,
even
you're
mention
talking-
you're running that Rolls at
Or
Optima.
better
Ballsy.
yet, I'm having
Great.
a client come over from
Oh,
Australia because he's
my
gonna flog
God.
it better than my wimp. But
Oh.
like, I've driven
That
client
giant
cars
wheel,
and
it's like
races.
steering a boat.
No, I don't mind that, but I don't want to sling and wreck a client's.
I
Let-
totally
Yeah, he
understand.
paid for it. Let
Couldn't
him
get
have the
worse.
fun.
Exactly.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
And if
Let
he
him
wrecks
have
it,
the
it comes
fun.
back
If
to
he
he's
wrecks
happy.
it, yeah.
Everyone's
It
happy.
speaks to the durability that it can handle that, but you don't need to be the wheel.
I remember
Exactly.
seeing you out
I've
there
been
in the
that guy.
first Derelict, I think.
Yeah.
Right? The first one? Was that 2013 or
Yeah,
12?
then I was out there again in that
Forgot about
Lincoln
that.
Zephyr.
Right.
Then I was out there in our Thrift Master, which let me tell you is
Holy
interesting how gently it pirouettes at 100 miles an hour into a chicane. Because there's no weight in the ass. I literally had much time to think, oh, yeah, we're going around.
Yeah.
Dude, I think
This is
when we went to
happening.
Optima in 2011 when Thad and I drove the X5 over
Yeah.
the Snow Mountain.
Yeah.
You had a derelict there.
That was the
I
first
had not
year.
met you. You were in line to run the course, and I just leaned in. I was like, "This thing's fucking rad," because it was like the only hot rod
Yeah.
really there besides like that, crazy Nova tube chassis car. That's fucking wow.
Yeah,
And
2011.
at that
Small weird
same
world.
event, we had 2 cars in the race, and one had to leave to go to like a photo shoot thing, and the line was all backed up. And I'm like, no problem. It's tight. I got this. I know my dimensions. So I'm driving like our first prototype Thrift Master, already sold. And I pass my own car, the Lincoln, and I hit the bumper and rip the back, just ruin the back fender on the Thrift Master. And like, what am I going to do, right? Everyone's there. I'm like, I just kept going. I said, don't worry, it's my car too. Like, I'm not going to stay around for ridicule. I am out of here. Yeah, that was a fuck me moment.
Oh,
Everyone's like,
no. Happens
part
to
of
the
the
best
fun.
of us, my friend.
Well, thank you again, and thank y'all for
Yeah, dude, thanks for
listening
coming
to
down.
Two Friends Catch Up.
That's every time you come down. It's a great fucking 2
Good
hours.
fun.
We love having you. Good storyteller.
Definitely.
John Ward of Icon. The Smoking Tire Podcast is, as always, powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. You don't have friends like John, but you probably got someone interesting and something to talk about. So if you got an internet connection, some kind of recording device, and something to say, Shout Engine is where it's at. They'll handle the rest. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday.